Connect your encoder to go live. I did. Good. Oh, God. Yeah, that's terrible.
Attention, a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Okay, so it does. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Had to be out of the studio for something and was unable to get back as fast as I wanted to. So you're going to hear some considerable and destructive severe thunderstorm warnings come through. That is actually for the activity that's down here in northern Iowa.
Attention, a new EDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
As I was saying, that is for this polygon down here, Spencer to Storm Lake, back towards Sioux City. And that is because that storm is producing 80-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail. So that's why that is that way. For us in our area, though, all we have is we still have the tornado warning to the south of Mankato. And I don't need to hear myself. There we go. Oh. Is my stream stuttering as bad as I think it is? No, it's just me. No, it's buffering really bad. What the hell? Okay, well, more technical problems to deal with. I know what the problem is, but I can't fix it because I have to replace the hardware to do it. Okay, so, as I was saying, tornado warning down here by Mankato. That is this storm. Oh, it's not going to let me do it, is it? No. Why? I know why. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to do a quick source select change back here. Much better.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay. There we go. It's kind of screwed up where I'm looking at. There we go. Now I can actually be looking at it while I'm looking at it. So, up here in the Twin Cities, not a lot to talk about. There's a few thunderstorms up here in Wright County, stretching from about Annandale down to Winstead. A little of the stronger storm down here by Winthrop. And another one down here by Hutchinson. As we take a look down the line, really, there's another storm down here by Gaylord. We really don't see anything intense or consistent until back towards the areas south of Mankato along the I-90 corridor, which is where we expected the activity to be tonight, for our area at least. But as you can tell, most of the serious activity is down here in the Omaha area, which they actually have a tornado that pretty much went right through the Omaha area. So through southern Omaha. And that's been a line, like I said, the line's lit up all the way back down here to Great Bend, Kansas. So, I mean, you've got a lot of real estate. I don't know why this is showing up so strangely small, but it is. There's that line showing. Bear with me. I'm going to see if I can figure out why this is showing me such a small window here real quick. Okay, that's the whole thing. Hi. And because I didn't reselect the window, it's going to tell me it's dead. There we go. Okay, so bear with me here. I'm going to unfortunately have to do some modifications in real time here. Oops. As I break things all over the place. Oh, come on. That's not locked. Why is it moving like it is? Okay, there. So what the holy Hannah Montana is going on here? Okay. Technology is wonderful until it isn't. There we go. It looks a little better. Now at least I have some idea. I'm pretty close to looking at the same things on each screen. There we go. Sorry about that. So we have our severe thunderstorm warning that is going to eventually likely cover Mankato. Right now it's right along and south of the Minnesota 60 corridor. So areas from Lake Crystal down towards Madelia, Louisville, and Truman, you're in that severe thunderstorm warning. So the areas behind, there's still lightning happening behind towards St. James and back west of Truman and back towards Tremont. But the worst of it is actually Lake Crystal down towards Winnebago and Grenada. It's going to go just north of Blue Earth on I-90. We do still have that tornado warning for areas around Vernon Center. If we take a look at the the velocity data, I still see a bit of a broad rotation here. Unfortunately, we're kind of in a radar hole,
New
and that we're
information.
looking quite a
This
ways from any
severe
of the available
thunderstorm
radars.
warning has been updated.
And that is Mount Iowa. That is this big red warning
Attention,
here,
a new radar indicated
which is
tornado
a
warning has
destructive
been
severe
issued.
thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. That's going to go through areas along and south of the US 20 corridor in Mason City, back towards Emmitsburg and Spencer, Iowa. This cluster of storms that, again, you can't really see terribly well. Let's see, switch radars. Let's clear this out. And for a brief moment, I'm going to do a little crazy here, and I am going to turn off all of our warnings for just a moment. That way we can actually see this line of storms. So this bow from Cherokee down towards Denison, curving back north of Omaha, that is a bow. And then this area up here from Estherville back down towards Cherokee and Lamar's, this area is also a bow. And what's happening behind those is you're getting a rear inflow jet where it's strong winds from aloft are getting pushed down to the surface. And what it does is it starts to push these bows forward. And what that does is allow them to move extremely quickly. And so that will cause destructive winds at the surface, and that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to go back and put our warnings back on. It's a little crowded with everything that's there. There we go. And this is one of those where you're seeing everything under the sun show up on this. So I'm going to go back to the Minneapolis radar. In the Twin Cities, we do not have a lot to talk about. Not a lot going on. I just realized that I adjust the camera down just a down tilt. There we go. Everything's going to happen basically along and south of US 14 tonight. So New Ulm, you're right now seeing a strong thunderstorm that's just blown through. That's going to move over here towards Cortland and Cambria, over towards Nicollet, Judson, Kasota, and Mankato on the north side. And then south of Mankato and south of US 14, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning that runs from Lake Crystal to Garden City to Good Thunder down to Winnebago, Grenada, and just barely touches Blue Earth. And then within that warning, we have our tornado warning for areas around Vernon Center. That's going to expire here in just a minute. And the National Weather Service is saying that storm is weakened. They're going to allow that warning to expire here. So we will go back to having just severe thunderstorm warnings across southern Minnesota. Keeping an eye on the activity here in northern Iowa, it is quite severe, but it is moving mostly to the east. If it continues on its current trajectory, it might clip areas from Albert Lea to Rochester to Monona and into La Crosse. It'll just barely brush far southeastern Minnesota. The other part we have to watch out for is this area. It's going to come in towards Rochester from Mankato down towards Blue Earth. This is going to be what we're really going to have to keep an eye on for a good chunk of the evening here. Not a lot I can say unless I start really diving out of the region and we start talking about what's happening down here to the south. Because a lot of these warnings are fairly solid. They're not too transparent because almost all of these are considerable or destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. And almost all of it is driven by a wind threat. So if we look back here at our EDS, severe thunderstorm warning, which is an extremely dangerous situation, it is the tornado equivalent of a PDS. Not quite a severe thunderstorm emergency. But these are destructive storms for Quimby, Cherokee, Washita, and Aurelia in Iowa with 80-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Personal weather station in Correctionalville, Iowa reported 74-mile-an-hour winds at 7:54, so that was about a half an hour ago. And that it was issued by National Weather Service Sioux Falls, and then we have our new warning was issued by Des Moines for Emmitsburg, Pocahontas, down to Rockwell City, Sac City, and Odebolt, and Lake City. And that one is listed as a considerable, or destructive severe thunderstorm, destructive severe thunderstorm. And that's near Galva, or 11 miles southwest of Storm Lake. And this storm is nearly stationary with 80-mile-an-hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail. So not a good view of this just because of where it's at. I'm going to put the Des Moines radar into motion here. And yeah, that area is moving, but it's bowing out. But if you look up here by Cherokee, not a lot moving there. There's not a lot of movement. And looks like we just got a new mesoscale discussion here. 8:18, a few minutes ago. So focus on the severe winds, gusts 60 to 75 miles an hour along with quick spin-up tornadoes. A couple of gusts 75 to 90 miles an hour possible. And that is in this area. We highlight it here from just about Sioux City over to Fort Dodge up towards Algona, Iowa, Estherville, back to Spencer to Lamar's, and then back to Sioux City. This is the area the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center are looking at for the worst conditions right now. There are multiple regional discussions happening with this activity as well. Okay. So, as you can see on the map, there's a wavy warm front here. It goes from about Rock Rapids and Sioux Falls, snakes around northwest Iowa, comes up to the Minnesota border north of Estherville, southwest of Fairmont, and then drops down towards Waverly in Iowa, and that's where it's a warm front moving north. Another warm front down here from the low pressure center south of Sioux City goes up towards Cherokee, Storm Lake, over to Rockwell City, curves down towards Boone, and eventually comes out towards Grundy Center. Those two warm fronts are actually the two warm fronts rather, are what's going to produce our danger up here in Minnesota along the I-90 corridor in southern Minnesota. Because as they lift north, they're going to bring that boundary farther north, and that's going to give us more heat, more humidity. Well, mostly more humidity, higher dew points, and more moisture. But as the storms cross that front, they're really picking up a lot more rotation. They're already rotating, but then now you've got more rotation as they cross the front. And just looking here by Amboy, the AI algorithm is picking up a 45%. We take a look at our velocity data. That would be this area right here. So there definitely is some spin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up a little bit in the atmosphere, see if that rotation still shows. It really doesn't. No, not at all. Well, this is looking up. If we zoom in here, I have to move the map to where I want to go here. So if I'm looking up at 23,000 feet, it's about 4 miles off the surface. The winds are at 70 miles an hour. but that again is 70 miles off the surface. On our base view, what we're looking at here is about 7,000 feet off the ground, 6,500, 6,400, 6,500 feet off the ground. So just over a mile.
Attention, a new tornadic severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
We're going to watch that area of rotation near Amboy. There we go. I was like, I know they didn't just cancel the tornado watch for Minnesota. The other thing I'm looking at is there may be some contamination in this. But this area down here by Winnebago also bears watching. Right here. All right. Yeah, definitely watch that area up here by Winnebago. Up here by Amboy, there's some very broad rotation to the north of between Vernon Center and Amboy. That's right along, what is that? That is right along 169 there, north of Amboy, between Amboy and Vernon Center.
Attention, a new radar-indicated tornado warning has been issued.
And these poor areas down here in Iowa just cannot catch a break. So, what I need to do is I'm just going to sort this out by warnings. So here's one tornado warning. That's for this rotation here to the west of Sac City. That actually is a pretty notable circulation. They're earlier 10 miles west of Sac City. Yep. And that's this area right here. That's why that tornado warning is issued. And that's in that destructive severe thunderstorm warning as well. Actually, I think that's the EDS. Just a destructive. It's not the EDS. EDS, I think, is the purple. EDS is a new thing. They've really only been issuing those for a couple of years now, so I'm still getting used to that verbiage. It's not one that I would use very often. The other thing I need to do is I need to move some windows around just to make it more normal for everybody. There we go. Do that. There we go. There we go. Now I'm looking at everything in one place that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to switch back to the Minneapolis radar so we can see this activity down here by Mankato. Mankato itself, so areas from good thunder up towards Lake Crystal, you're going to see strong winds, you're going to see some hail, but the tornado threat's fairly low right now. But if we look farther down the line, and we look at the areas from Amboy down towards Winnebago, there's some areas of circulation there that definitely bear watching just east of Amboy, out here moving towards Sterling Center and eventually up towards Mapleton, and just south of Winnebago are two areas that I would be watching extremely closely. If you are in those areas, go ahead and seek shelter just to make sure. Again, here's that area of rotation near Winnebago. And that shows up well from Sioux Falls and from the Minneapolis radar sites. Just for grins, I'm going to pop down here to Iowa. There's that area of rotation here between Larrabee and Calumet that has the tornado warning on it. Here's our rotation by Sac City. Looking at Des Moines is going to be a long reach for anything here. Sioux Falls. Now, Sioux Falls doesn't see that far. I didn't think it would. Can Omaha. What I'm looking for in here is I'm looking for any signs of a debris signature, and I'm not seeing one, which is good. I don't want to see one. Earlier this evening, I was unfortunately able to see a pretty sizable debris signature on a very large tornado that developed very, very quickly. It went from just being a tiny little spaghetti strand into a monster wedge in about 7 minutes. It was absolutely breathtaking to watch. And as somebody who studied meteorology, it was terrifying at the same time because it's like, I know that everything's there for the ingredients, but just to see it happen like that and how fast it happened was what was amazing to me. So here's a little notch of inflow up here by Amboy. This is one area where I am watching right here. waiting for my mouse to show up. There we go. Right here. Another little spot down here south of Winnebago. This rotation up here, there's two actually, three, four. I mean, you could argue there's rotation just to the east of Garden City, just between Vernon Center and Good Thunder, just east of Amboy, and then another messier area down here by Winnebago. And there's the data catching up from the rotation data. Reflectivity and rotation, the rotation data is computed, so there's about a 45-second delay between when the reflectivity updates, so the regular radar image, and we see the updated velocity data. So that's why I was kind of waiting for that. So this area out here between Vernon Center and Good Thunder, this is starting to look a bit more outflow, like it's going to suddenly try to barge forward. If that's the case, areas from Mapleton to Wells and eventually over towards Blooming Prairie, you need to be prepared for some extremely strong winds. That's the kind of situation where you start seeing 80, 90, 100 mile an hour wind gusts as you get a derecho starting. It would be a very small derecho. I don't think it actually would meet the requirements in terms of the size of the system. You can almost make a case for this area from, well, pretty much from Nebraska City, Nebraska, all the way up here to Esterville. You could almost argue this whole line, it could be a derecho. So we take a look at that in the big picture here. So I'll zoom in just a bit so you can see this. Now this is all the way down in Kansas. So here's Great Bend, Kansas, Ellsworth, Salina here. You can see all the 1-inch hail, 1.5-inch hail reports through this line. Tornado warning still just north of Marysville, Kansas. That's going to expire in a few minutes. And given that little kink right here by Hanover, they might reissue something there. There are several kinks right through this line. And you can see those little inflow notches like here. This would be an area to watch because it's what we call a tail end Charlie. It's the end of the line. Just scrolling up this line, you can just see all the little nudges and pockets in it. Looking out here by Avoca in Nebraska, south of Weeping Water. Tornado warning there. That's probably going to be another radar indicated. Yeah, radar indicated 5 southwest of Avoca. So this little area right here north of Syracuse, Nebraska. Another tornado warning that is now out of the Omaha area. And that is another radar indicated tornado. And that is moving from southwestern Council Bluffs. And that's moving to the northeast at 45. And there's another area 4 miles south of Crescent. And I'm looking where Crescent is because that's not an area I know really well here. There's Crescent right here. All right. Looking farther up the line, another tornado warning up here, and that's going to be probably for this little notch right here between Hard Scratch and Crisp. And that's going to be in Nebraska again. That's Iowa, sorry. That is actually in Iowa. We crossed the river there. And I apologize, but another little area right here, a little what we call a bookend vortex out here by Woodbine and Logan and Dunlap, Iowa. This would be another area that you could see a tornado spin up here. The issue with these lines like this is they spin up a tornado very, very quickly. And so what happens is you get a quick tornado, it hits and it's gone. And a lot of times it'll happen so fast that it's between radar scans. There we go. Sorry about that. Had a chair sink. I was like, where am I going? I'm sinking. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning still for areas between Denison and Carroll, Iowa. That severe thunderstorm warnings for 60 mile an hour wind gusts. That's a
New
standard
information.
run-of-the-mill.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
And they've upgraded this severe thunderstorm warning for Cherokee, southeastern Osceola, Dickinson, Buena Vista, Clay, and O'Brien counties. And this is now a considerable threat for 70 mile an hour winds and quarter-sized hail. One of the Mesonet stations in Iowa reported a 62 mile an hour wind gust north of Cleghorn. So that's what prompted that warning to be upgraded. We still have our destructive severe thunderstorm warning for 80 mile an hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail. And that is for areas west and northwest of Fort Dodge, including Sac City, Lake City, Odebolt, Pocahontas, and Lawrence up to Emmetsburg. And then in Minnesota, we have one severe thunderstorm warning left.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
And that's the one we're looking at right now. Just got updated. So that's going to be on the line from 7 miles north of Good Thunder to 5 miles north of Blue Earth, moving east at 25. That storm contains 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and half-dollar-sized hail. The areas affected by that storm will be Lake Crystal, Vernon Center, Amboy, Winnebago, Huntley, Garden City, Good Thunder, and Delavan. Let's go back to our standard reflectivity here. So let's look at our Minneapolis radar site. There we go. Turn that off.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Okay. There we go. For some reason, it decided I didn't want to see any radar. There we go. And there's our reflectivity. That's the view that most people are used to seeing. Looks like we've got some scattered activity here north of Egan, up north of Woodbury towards Stillwater and River Falls. That area, those areas may see a little lightning and thunder. We're going to see some good rain with this here in the Twin Cities, but there's almost no lightning activity in this system at all. So it's, I mean, you may hear a few rumbles here and there, but don't be expecting big thunderstorms. All of the big thunderstorm activity is going to be south of Gaylord, south of New Prague, and over to Red Wing. If something were to happen, I mean, it could creep a little farther north towards Jordan, maybe up towards Red Wing, but I would be surprised if that was the case. So right now in Minnesota, all we have is our severe thunderstorm warning here between Lake Crystal and Blue Earth. And that is in effect here for another 14 minutes. And that is for Lake Crystal, Vernon Center, Amboy, Winnebago, Huntley, Garden City, Good Thunder, and Delavan. And there is a tornado possible tag on this, and it's for 1 1/4 inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Otherwise, all the activity is south of the border in Iowa, all the way down into Nebraska, Kansas. And there was some thought that it might go south of Dodge City and go all the way down into towards Lubbock and the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. But that, fortunately, has not happened. The atmosphere just did not come together with the right ingredients to pull that off, to get a full line going all the way down the plains. Looking at this thunderstorm up here by Watertown, South Dakota, kind of a lone cell there. That is north and west of the low pressure center, which is down here in southwest Minnesota, down by Minneota, probably between Marshall and Granite Falls at this point. The frontal positions that you see here are anywhere from 1 to 3 hours behind, as those are analyzed every 3 hours. But that is just along and near the track of the low. That could produce some small hail, probably P to maybe dime at the largest. And I said there's no lightning in the metro. There is a little bit of lightning between Shakopee and Glencoe. A couple of strikes just happened up there. But looking up the rest of the line, nothing. Now, if you're in the South Metro, the far South Metro, so Gaylord South, you're seeing a pretty good lightning show, especially down by Mankato down to Winnebago, and then from Winnebago it trails southwest down towards Fairmont. But that whole area is seeing a lot of lightning activity. It's not continuous wall-to-wall lightning, but it is definitely an intense lightning storm. Waiting to see what happens with the warnings down here. Still carrying that destructive severe thunderstorm warning for Sac City, Rockwell City, Pocahontas, and Emmetsburg in Iowa. And then severe thunderstorm warnings run south of that. These are all considerable to destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. The storm up here in Denison and Carroll, it's kind of in between. That is only a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and 1 inch hail. The ones to the south are 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail. Same thing with the activity that's just moving out of the Omaha area. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail.
Attention, a new radar-indicated tornado warning has been issued.
And we have a new tornado warning up here in Clay and Dickinson County, which would be...
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
So we have our severe thunderstorm warning that's carrying the destructive tag. That is still valid, and that's going to be running here for another 27 minutes until 9:15. Severe thunderstorms were extending from Royal to Albert City to Lakeview, moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. 80-mile-an-hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail is the threat with these storms. So this is this area here from Spencer down towards Storm Lake. This whole activity is racing to the northeast at 65 miles an hour. Now with that, we do have a kink up here by Spencer that will bear watching. And they do have a tornado warning on that. And that is for the thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage. And that is 9 miles southwest of Spencer in Clay County, Iowa, moving northeast at 70 miles an hour. Spencer and Clay County and Lost Island Lake at about 8:55, so you got about 5 minutes to seek shelter in Spencer. Areas up towards Esterville, you are right on that considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Then that storm is moving towards you at 65 miles an hour, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and quarter-sized hail. And then there's a substantial gap, kind of an offset really, from areas south of Worthington, and it jumps over to Fairmont, and then continues up right along the 169 corridor, and we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning here. And this is going to be for areas
Attention, a
in
new
eastern Blue
tornadic
Earth
severe
County,
thunderstorm
northeastern
warning
Faribault
has been
County,
issued.
northwestern Freeborn County, and western Waseca County. And this is a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning with hail to 1¼ inches and wind gusts to 60 miles an hour. And that's going to include areas like Janesville, Pemberton, Minnesota Lake, Wells. It's going to run over to Freeborn, Wilton, and New Richland. Mapleton, you're in this as well. The south side of Mankato, you're in this. So that's gonna cover MSU. That's gonna cover what is the name of the college? The other college there, Bethany. Mayo Clinic Health System over here. You're right in the top of that. Kind of the warning really just runs right along the Minnesota River there through downtown Mankato, and that warning goes over towards Eagle Lake, and eventually it'll reach over to just south of Elysian. Have more showers and storms developing out ahead of the front here in southeastern Minnesota. So areas from Rochester to Preston to Cresco, Iowa to Decorah, all the way back to Charles City, Osage, Austin in Minnesota, back towards Albert Lee and Mason City. You've got these storms developing. They're going to move through, but currently they are not severe. More storms over here in Jackson and Trempealeau counties, north of La Crosse in Wisconsin. And then these cells that are moving into the South Metro, these are actually strengthening right now.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
There's really nothing severe north of that tornado watch. I mean, you got to give it to the Storm Prediction Center. They nailed this. Severe activity has been running right along this line. I mean, it may get a little north into like Wabasha County, probably over to Winona County eventually, but really it's followed that line right across. Now, that's not to say that Faribault, so down here in Rice County, over towards Goodhue County, and even back here into LeSueur, you could see a severe thunderstorm warning at some point if the storms strengthen a bit more. You've got quite a bit of lightning up here by St. Peter, up towards LeSueur along the Minnesota River. But otherwise, this activity back here towards Watertown is really just one cell doing its thing over here. It's just kind of like, yep, I'm here. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's that storm by Watertown. And it seems to be fizzling out some too. But we do have to watch any of this activity back here. South and west of Sioux Falls, back towards Yankton and O'Neill, Nebraska. That activity could actually hold together and make it all the way up here into Minnesota. Would not be severe when it does, but it is possible that it could reach into the area. Taking a look. The AI is picking up a couple of areas of rotation that it's looking at. One here is just to the west of Milford, southwest of Spirit Lake in Iowa. That's a 62% probability, and southeast of Spencer, about a 51%. Now, saying that, the AI is great, but you are
New
fairly
information.
far from all the radar
This tornado
sites.
warning has been updated.
And we just did get an update here on one of the one of the thunderstorm warnings rather. And I believe it's this one. No. There are so many warnings right now. Sometimes I have to just click into them and say, was it this one? There's this one that just got updated. So western Greene County, Iowa, southeastern Sac County, southern Calhoun, Crawford, and Carroll counties. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible for you. That warning is in effect until 9:30, so for another 37 minutes. And you could see a possible spin up tornado. They would not last long. I mean, we're talking a tornado that lasts maybe 2 to 3 minutes. They happen so fast sometimes that the radar can't even see them. It spins up, it drops the tornado, it does its thing, and then it's gone. So we'll keep watching this area up here north of Spencer. That's the one I would be most concerned with, just looking at it on radar. Velocity says there's a nice spin right here. This is the other spin they're looking at, and
Attention, a new radar
they just
indicated
issued a tornado warning for
has
that
been
activity
issued.
southwest of Spirit Lake. This is going to move into Spirit Lake. So Spirit Lake, Milford, Arnold's Park, Lake Park, Okoboji, Orleans, Wahpeton, and West Okoboji. Around 9 o'clock, you're going to see this storm. It's moving northeast at 30, so this area is fairly slow. But it does have an intense rotation. So this area right here west of Wilford is going to move up right into Okoboji and Spirit Lake. That's an area that we will have to watch here in the next few minutes to see if it does anything more. Checking back in Minnesota. The line's getting kind of sloppy, but it's still definitely there. It looks like it looked like it was a little firmer. I think it's just me looking at so many other sites that I can't see it anymore. I gotta turn one thing off here real quick. Not that one. Here. The mesoscale discussion is turned on, so these big blob areas show up. I'm like, what is that? All right. I'll look and see if we have any regional discussions here. Just got a new update for Iowa. Northwestern and North Central. This was issued a while back. I did see that one. Okay. Just catching up on all of the data that's coming in. I mean, it comes in fast and thick. And looking, they're still carrying an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms for areas in the upper Midwest. And it looks like the low-level jet has started to strengthen. So, looking at the really big picture here, what I'm looking at is this area in front of everything. And I'm going to throw on the composite radar as much as I dislike it. It really still doesn't show it. But down here at Springfield, Missouri, they take an upper air sounding, which means they send a balloon up. It samples what's happening above us and gives us solid information that we can look at and say, hey, this is an area where more spin is possible. And so that is the Springfield area is starting to show an intense low-level jet setting up, and what that will do is funnel a lot of Gulf moisture straight up into the Midwest and into the upper Midwest. And so what they're noting is up here in northwestern and north central Iowa, so areas towards Mason City, Waterloo, Fort Dodd, areas north of Des Moines, basically north of I-80. The chances of severe thunderstorms maintaining themselves and possibly even getting stronger is definitely on the boards. And the Storm Prediction Center is watching that carefully. With that as well, that would also help to push this front farther north, which could push our activity here farther north. And as I look, it looks like there's a little more lightning activity here. I'm going to switch radars real quick. And this is going to look messy as can be, and I apologize in advance for that. Turn off my composite, if it'll let me. So what I'm looking at is our friendly Doppler radar over here in Cottage Grove. And is it not going to let me look at the long range? Oh, it's not. Shoot. Okay. That's fine. So, let's see if I can switch this real quick. Okay. There we go. This is the Doppler radar at Cottage Grove. This is the FAA radar that they use for detecting wind shear and other very local events here at Minneapolis International. But what it also is really good for is seeing fine details of storms. So you can see this line of storms that's developed from basically northeast Minneapolis up towards Maplewood to Stillwater. So another stronger line.
New
from
information.
West St. Paul
This severe
over towards
thunderstorm
landfall,
warning has been
and there's
updated.
showers right along the 94 US 12 corridor all the way over towards Roberts. And I just missed where that tornado warning was updated. There's so much going on that you can't follow it all. I'm wondering if it's this area. No. So much going on. 853, we've seen that one. Yeah, it's one of those where I'm going to have to be watching it like a hawk to see exactly where it happened. But what I was saying that you can see a lot of fine detail in this. Unfortunately, they are co-located with major airports. So there's one here in Twin Cities.
Attention, a new radar indicated tornado warning has been
south
issued.
and east of Estherville, Iowa, northwest of Emmitsburg. So this is going to be for an area 7 miles southeast of Spencer and Clay County in Iowa, moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. So we're Emmett County and northern Palo Alto counties in northwestern Iowa. You are into this tornado
New
warning.
information. This tornado warning has been updated.
And that is for radar indicated rotation. And otherwise, the hail size is under 3/4 of an inch. So it's the rotation is the biggest thing we're looking at. There's another tornado warning back here. I believe it was this one. Yes, it was. Severe squall line capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage was located near Lost Island Lake, or 8 miles southeast of Spencer in Clay County, moving northeast at 70. And that is for radar indicated rotation, 1-inch hail. And the worst of it really seems to be down here, more towards Storm Lake and Rockwell City. See if they've issued an update on this. Remains in effect. This was issued 8:48, so about 12 minutes ago. From Royal to Albert City to Lakeview in Iowa, moving northeast at 65. So Pocahontas, Rockwell City, Mallard up to Emmitsburg. You're in that destructive severe thunderstorm warning. Just checking in on our severe thunderstorm warning in advance of the line that's just passing to the south of Mankato. And there's that warning canceled. So Mankato to Mapleton, down towards Delavan and Easton, eventually heading over towards Janesville, Pemberton, Minnesota Lake Wells, New Richland, and Waseca. Severe thunderstorm warning there for another 44 minutes, and that is for half-dollar-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Otherwise, all the fun activity, so to speak, is south of the Iowa border. It's out here, Estherville, Spencer, down towards Rockwell City. North central Iowa is seeing a lot of tornadoes, well, at least tornado warnings. Have a confirmed tornado down here in Iowa, Mills County, Iowa, near Glenwood, Iowa, or 11 miles southeast of Offutt Air Force Base, moving northeast at 50. And that was a confirmed tornado on the south side of Plattsmouth. So that's right here. It's going to move up towards Pacific Junction, Glenwood, Silver City, Pacific City, Balfour, and Mineola. You need to be on the lookout for this as well. Taking a look at the radar, it's going to be this area of rotation right here, just to the southwest of Silver City. Switch over and look at the velocities in this. I'm going to do this area right here. Again, it's going to be a lot of those spin-ups where it's quick, it's done. And before you have a chance to realize it, you've been hit by a tornado. This area up here by Milford, Iowa, southwest of Spirit Lake, that is still looking, well, it looked better in the last frame. The latest update here, we still see some pretty remarkable rotation in the storm itself from Arnold's Park back towards Milford. Storm Relative says the same thing.
Attention, a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
That's a big severe thunderstorm warning. Just got issued out here in front of this whole mess. And this is for Webster County, Iowa, eastern Pocahontas County in northwestern Iowa, western Wright, Kossuth, northeastern Calhoun, Humboldt, northwestern Hamilton, and eastern Palo Alto counties in Iowa until 9:45. So the line of storms moving east at 60 miles an hour with 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail. So areas from Algona to Dakota City to Fort Dodge to Webster City, Eagle Grove, just south and west of Emmitsburg, and down to Manson, Iowa. I guess it'll have an impact there. Gilmore City, Clare, Moreland, Collender, Cowrie, and Farnham Hill. Is it Farnhamville? Farnhamville. And Livermore, Laverne, Algona, Burt, Bancroft. You're all in that new severe thunderstorm warning. Still watching that storm up here south of Millbank. It's not severe. It's not. It's just it's there and it's doing its own thing. But it was looking like it was on a downtrend, and now it's definitely uptrending. It's starting to get some cells forming to its south, feeding into it, which makes me question where it's located in terms of the low and the fronts, because it looks like it's pulling in from the south, which would tell me that there's more going on there, that the low may actually be a little farther back. And that's what I'm questioning at this point. That storm out here by Gaylord is producing quite a bit of lightning. So Gaylord to Jordan to Shakopee, up to Chanhassen, up pretty much up to the Weather Service office, and then up into Minnetonka. So, you know, pretty good set of downpours, some lightning in that as well. Not severe, just good, solid thunderstorms. If you're in the North Metro,
Attention,
you're probably
this
missing
flash
out at
flood
this
warning
point.
has been
Not a
updated.
lot going to happen there. It's got a new flash flood warning in Iowa, which I am not seeing.
New information, this severe thunderstorm warning has been
There it is.
updated.
So areas around areas north of Lamar's and Lamar's, Iowa. So just updated our severe thunderstorm warning up here for the storm south of Mankato. And that warning will continue until 9:45 for another 40 minutes. Line of storms from near Eagle Lake to Easton, moving east at 35, and those are producing 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and $half sized hail. And again, up here in the cities, not a lot going on. And I'm going to keep an eye on this. If this starts to bow out anymore, I'll start being a lot more concerned about the threat of damaging wind gusts more towards 70 miles an hour. The other thing I'm kind of keeping an eye on is this area just northeast of Mankato. So right
Attention,
about the
a
Lime
new
Valley
confirmed
Mobile
tornado
Park,
warning
up
has been
towards,
issued.
Mankato Regional Airport. I'm gonna quick figure out which warning down here just got updated. There we go. Confirmed tornado near over Pomeroy, or 10 miles northwest of Rockwell City, moving east at 60. This is a law enforcement confirmed tornado. And so this is that area down towards Dakota City, Fort Dodge, Manson, Gilmore City, Eagle Grove, and Iowa. You are all in a tornado warning now. And that is for area of rotation down here by Pomeroy, just to the northwest of Manson, Iowa, sorry. Let me switch radar sites real quick. And that would be this area right here, right where the mouse is pointing out. Here, switch over to velocity data. Oof, it's right in that transition. Let's see if Sioux Falls can see it any better. Ugh, no. So this is where we get into the cruel facts of we don't have a good solid view of this, unfortunately. And it looks like they just extended that a new tornado warning. Oh, that's the one for Pomeroy. That actually extended out farther than I thought it did. So that's going to include Dakota City, Eagle Grove, and Fort Dodge. So that's going to actually move into a fairly populated area here. And you can see the radar sweep here from Minneapolis as it brings in new data. So this area up here, we're looking at up here towards Esterville, it's kind of close to Sioux Falls in terms of a radar site, but otherwise there's not anywhere else to really look at. I mean, Minneapolis, you're looking at it 8,000 to 9,000 feet in the air. La Crosse is probably looking at 12,000, about 9,000 from Des Moines, 12,000 from Omaha. And we have a new tornado warning in Iowa.
Attention, a new radar indicated
Northeastern
tornado warning
Pocahontas,
has been
Kossuth,
issued.
west northern Humboldt, and eastern Palo Alto County. And that is for a storm capable of producing a tornado located over Plover, or 10 miles northeast of Pocahontas, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. If you're in southern Minnesota, keep an eye on these storms because they are moving more to the northeast. So given the storm down here by Spencer, if it stays on its current track, would track up, what are we looking at? Wells, Freeborn, between New Richmond and Blooming Prairie. And eventually could get all the way up towards Owatonna, Mantorville, up towards Zumbrota, way out in the line. But this whole area would cover all of southeast Minnesota and go right down to about Prairie du Chien and Dubuque, Iowa. So that's where we're watching this area here, because it will eventually likely clip into southeastern Minnesota. The only issue would be is if this area up here in Mankato to Fairmont, this area right here can get a little bit stronger, put out an outflow boundary, it could act to really take away some of the energy here. And this northern part of the line could actually get pretty knocked down. Radar is saying a 65% probability of a tornado there by Spirit Lake over Arnold's Park. Let's switch radars over to the Des Moines site. Des Moines radar also sees it. Lower probability is only 40% there. Sioux Falls, 64%. So, again, if I do our handy dandy little scope tool, looking at Sioux Falls, we're looking at 7,000 feet in the air, 14,000 feet from Minneapolis. Des Moines is 15,000. La Crosse is 30,000. And Omaha is looking about 19,000 feet up. So, yeah, Sioux Falls is the radar to use right now just because of it's looking the lowest in the atmosphere. But looking at that, I would be, if you're in Spirit Lake, Esterville, up towards Salem in Minnesota, Fairmont even, and up towards Grenada, Winnebago, you want to be watching these storms very, very closely. And if I was Spirit Lake, Arnold's Park, Esterville, you need to be in your safe space. But Petersburg in Minnesota, up towards Sherburne, Trimont, Ceylon, and eventually going all the way up towards Fairmont.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Ready to go and be able to start that any time. And updated, that storm is now over Spirit Lake, moving northeast at 30. So it's slowing down. And what that tells me is that if we look at the regular base reflectivity, you see this line's bowing out quite substantially. A normal line would be running from Spencer to Denison through Storm Lake. I mean, you'd have a little bit of a curve. But you have this big bulge, backward C shape. And so what's happening is these storms up here, at the top of it, what we call a bookend vortex up here, the north end of the line, this area is actually just kind of dragging behind. So that's why these storms are only moving to the northeast at 30. But what can happen is you get that whole area twisting, and it does this as it rotates. And so what happens is you get spin-up
New
rotations
information.
that can actually
This
last a
severe
little longer
thunderstorm
there.
warning has been updated.
We have an updated severe thunderstorm warning here for areas south and east of Mankato. So those storms are running on a line from 11 miles northeast of Mankato to 21 miles south of Mankato, moving northeast at 35, still capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and half-dollar-sized hail. That does still carry a tornado possible tag on it.
Attention, a new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
And we have a new radar indicated tornado warning for areas around Rockwell City, Iowa. And that storm is moving to the east at 45 miles an hour. Eventually it will get to Fort Dodge about 9:35. Before that, though, it'll get to Reinhard about 9:15. Summers and Knierim around 9:20. Moreland 9:25. Lizard Creek State Rec Area at 9:30. Colville and Otho around 9:40. Woodman Hollow State Park about 9:45. Duncombe and the Brushy Creek Strait. What is that? Brushy Creek Street Recreation Area around 9:50. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a Brushy Creek Street, what that is. It is a Brushy Creek State Rec Area. Okay, which would make sense. Some lightning now, getting some thunder up here on the northwest metro. So areas Plymouth up towards Maple Grove, seeing some thunder and lightning there. Otherwise, just general showers and thunderstorms running almost two lines now, from Amory to Stillwater, And then there's another cell up here in the middle of Anoka County, up around Ham Lake, and then a more substantial conglomeration from areas around New Hope and Brooklyn Center. It stretches back to the southwest, goes across Chanhassen and Lake Minnetonka, and that extends all the way back down towards Gaylord and Le Sueur. At Le Sueur, we start getting into the more intense circulations and the more intense storms. And an area from Le Sueur to St. Peter to Mankato, and then a big curve. That's that bow C-shape we've been talking about with bow echoes tonight. And that bow is going from about Eagle Lake, goes all the way forward to almost Janesville now, to Pemberton, back to Mapleton. And then storms run back to Winnebago. And then behind that, there's another set of storms about 5 to 10 miles back. And those are running from east of Truman down through Grenada, east of Fairmont, down towards East Chain and Ceylon. And then behind that, Fairmont, you're not out of the woods when this is done, because you've got this big squall line coming through north central Iowa. It's eventually going to get up towards I-90. And that is running from Spirit Lake down towards Emmitsburg in Iowa, down to Pocahontas, Rockwell City, Lake City, down to Denison. And from there, that line of severe storms continues all the way down into central Kansas, down by Hayes. This little area of storms up here, out by Traverse and Big Stone counties, Yellow Medicine County. Fun little storms, but not really doing anything of interest. I'm going to put this in motion real quick, so I want to see something. Yep. If you notice here in the metro, you can see that there's a little, oh, it's so hard to see, but right here there's a fine line. Little detail. This is where the terminal Doppler may actually help, the FAA radar. Not so much. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, the Doppler radar actually, the Chanhassen radar was doing better. Interesting. But what I was looking at was to see, almost looks like there's a little boundary thing. You can see the trough line they
Attention,
have
a new
posted.
radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
All right, we just got a fill-in warning here from the Des Moines National Weather Service for northwestern Emmett County in northwestern Iowa. And that is for a storm 5 miles southwest of Estherville, moving northeast at 45. So Estherville, you need to be in your safe space now. You've got about 3 minutes to get there. Fort Defiance State Park, same story. If you're camping and you're watching me on YouTube, I kind of question your choices of activities, because it's a beautiful night otherwise. So we have a solid line of tornado warnings that runs from areas around Spirit Lake and Estherville, down through Emmitsburg to Algona, to Pocahontas, to Dakota City and Eagle Grove, to Manson, to Fort Dodge, to Webster City, to Rockwell City, and all the way down to almost Jewel Junction in Story City in Iowa. Beyond that, we have severe thunderstorm warnings. Most of those are considerable or higher. Looks like we have a couple of possible destructive, no destructives, just standards and considerables. And those run from Carroll and Denison in Iowa all the way down to Nebraska City. I think they continue all the way down to Marysville, Kansas and beyond, into central Kansas by Hayes. But right now, the big show is actually in northern Iowa. It's this area right on this bow. And that's not quite where, it's close to where they expected everything to be, but it's a little off. So I pull up the day one real quick. You can see, here's Mankato. Here's Fairmont, Estherville. You can see that enhanced risk is right in the area where we've got everything going on. But if I look at the tornado risk, they've moved that. Because earlier it was not this far north. I mean, they've got it, well, I guess it was, Wilmer up towards, what was that, about Cold Spring, Watkins, Annandale. Even up here in the Twin Cities, they had us in a SIG 1, which means we could actually have seen a couple of tornadoes up to EF1 in strength, EF2. But that continues all the way down. I mean, that line of possible EF2 tornadoes went all the way down to Wellington in Texas. So, this is a large storm system doing a lot to a lot of people. But if you notice the wind chances, that's a 45% hatched area, so gusts to 70 miles an hour plus. But a 45% probability in that purple area, 30 in the orange, 15 up here in the yellow, which doesn't. We're in a general 15% here in most of Minnesota. We'll thunder here in Apple Valley. And then we do have a little bit of an enhanced area for hail, and that is way south, and that's Redwood Falls down towards Worthington and Rock Rapids. And that gets stronger as you go down towards Lamar's, Sioux City, and back farther along the line. I'm a little questioning of where this is from.
Attention, a new tornadic severe thunderstorm warning has been
Severe
issued.
thunderstorm warning up here in our region, so let's take a look at that. And that is this area farther back that we were looking at. Let me pop that up on the radar. Come on. And that is for this area. I'm a little questioning. Severe thunderstorms located in northern Iowa along a line from 15 miles west of Sherburne to 26 miles south of Ceylon, moving northeast at 60 mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. And that is actually an advance warning from Minneapolis for this activity. It's going to be coming out of the area from Emmitsburg, Iowa, up towards Spirit Lake. That area is going to move up more to the northeast. And that, of course, is going to take it up towards Fairmont, Madelia, St. James, Truman, Winnebago, and Blue Earth. You're in that severe thunderstorm warning. That is just a standard tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning with 1-inch hail and 60 mile-an-hour wind gusts. And if y'all can bear with me for just 1 second, I'm going to step aside. I'm going to leave everything up, and I will be right back. Hello again. So you're going to see me duck off camera every once in a while here. As not a sponsorship at all, but one of my partners brought me Dairy Queen Blizzard right as I went live. I'm like, so it's been sitting here for about a half an hour. It's going to be nice and gooey at this point. So I had to grab a spoon so I could dig into that. Hopefully help save my voice a bit. My voice is a little scratchy today. I apologize. Just watching everything come in here. Noticing, which radar are we looking at? Chanhassen? Okay. Not a lot of reflectivity, but a lot of lightning up here between Le Sueur, Le Centre, and St. Peter. And sometimes that lightning can be an indicator of activity getting stronger. Southeast Minnesota, areas Rochester to Austin to Preston, over towards Winona, Caledonia. You've got storms building. They're north of the warm front. They're not necessarily in the area that would produce a tornado, but they could produce large hail and strong winds. So we'll have to watch that. I'm sure La Crosse Weather Service is keeping a very close eye on those because they're going to have their handful shortly enough. Because once you get to Austin and Dodge Center, right in here, that switches over to the National Weather Service in La Crosse. So Chanhassen's kind of got the easy streak tonight. They just get to watch this little bit of activity back here. I am curious, though, why they issued the warning as big as they did. I was waiting to see how this storm is moving. Because it looks like this area by Spirit Lake is not moving. It's because it's really not. We'll probably start seeing some flash flood warnings appear here pretty quick.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Thunderstorm warning around Algona, Iowa. Still radar indicated rotation. Irvington at 9:25 and St. Benedict and Sexton at 9:30. This will also affect areas around Sexton, Livermore, Whittemore, Stinson Prairie State Park, Addison, Burt, St. Joseph, Irvington, Rodman, and Lone Rock in Iowa. And again, we have a solid line of tornado warnings from Spirit Lake to Esterville, down to Emmitsburg and Algona in Iowa, to Dakota City, to Fort Dodge, over to Webster City, and back to Rockwell City. And that's all with this squall line that is pushing to the east through north central Iowa right now. Again, in Minnesota, all we have is severe thunderstorm warnings, thankfully. We haven't gotten anything too much worse than that right now. So again, I am watching this development back out here along the South Dakota-Minnesota border.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
But it would definitely bring us more rain. There's updated a tornado warning. I'm not sure which one it was. There's only like 5 of them. Okay, that's not it. Which warning did they update? 922. Okay. I feel like I'm missing one of the warnings they updated. Okay, guess I'm not. I may just be running ahead of them. It's one of the things watching the radar versus listening to the warnings. Sometimes you get faster with these. Excuse me. Oh. It's amazing how sometimes just getting a little ice cream helps. This area up here by Brooklyn Park, running from Coon Rapids and Mountain View, runs all the way back to Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center to New Hope. Just about to move over Crystal Airport and into Crystal and Robbinsdale and North Minneapolis. Eventually, here in the next few minutes, it'll move into the Camden neighborhood and then cross the river into Fredley and Columbia Heights. Got some good heavy downpours, some little lightning here and there, but nothing severe. More of a clustered rash of storms from Plymouth over to Edina to MSP, and then back towards Bloomington, and then back towards Victoria, and then more concentrated area from Cologne to Carver, back down towards Belle Plaine, Blakely, Jesselyn, Henderson, Le Sueur, and then much more intense line from St. Peter, arcing out towards Waterville, and then arcing back towards
New
Pennington,
information.
Mapleton.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been
They just
updated.
trimmed that warning down quite a bit. So, severe thunderstorm warning for areas along a line from 6 miles southeast of La Center to 6 miles north of Waldorf. That whole area is moving east at 35 miles an hour, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and $half-sized hail is what is expected with that storm. And that warning is in for another 20 minutes until 9:45. Mankato, Mapleton, Eagle Lake, Pemberton, Smiths Mill, Janesville, Alma City, and St. Clair, you're all in the path of this storm. Now, their listing is moving it to the northeast. I'm not sure this
New
area
information. This tornado warning has been
That's the
updated.
case. This is all moving to the northeast. I'd be looking so St. Peter to La Center to Lonsdale up towards Hastings. Areas to the south and east of that line, you may see some stronger storms tonight. They likely will not be severe, but they will be stronger. Probably some 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts and some torrential downpours. Thankfully, here in Minnesota tonight, we are getting lucky in that we're not getting the severe weather that they're getting across Iowa and Nebraska. They did hit the enhanced risk today perfectly. I would have almost expected a moderate. And here's Des Moines issuing another one of their
Attention,
classic
a new
big
tornadic severe
warnings.
thunderstorm warning has been issued.
And this is for a good chunk of central Iowa, Greene County, southern Webster, Guthrie, Audubon, southeastern Sac, southern Calhoun, eastern Crawford, southwestern Hamilton, Boone, Carroll, and northwestern Dallas County in central Iowa until 10:45. Those storms are moving to the southeast at 35 with 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and penny-sized hail. So areas around Boone, Carroll, Audubon, Guthrie Center, Coon Rapids in Iowa, Lake Panorama, Boone Speedway, Dayton, Grand Junction, Adair, and Manila, you're in the path of this storm. And that is for this area down here from Carroll to Harlan. Eventually that's going to move into Des Moines proper. But I do notice that this area of storms is starting to show more of an outflow boundary. And that could be a sign the storms are weakening, but I would not count them out. They could also be cycling. I mean, this is a long-lived squall line that really started back here in Nebraska, Grand Island up towards Ord, and down towards Hastings, and has moved to the north and east. And Des Moines again for the big severe thunderstorm warning
Attention,
covering a good chunk
a
of
new
north central
considerable
Iowa,
severe
including Mason
thunderstorm
City
warning has been
and
issued.
I-35. So this is going to be for eastern Emmett, western Worth, northern Wright, northwestern Franklin. This is all in Iowa. Kossuth County, northern Humboldt County, Hancock County, western Cerro Gordo, Winnebago, and northeastern Palo Alto counties in Iowa until 10:30. And this is for a line of storms located along a line from 4 miles southwest of Ceylon, Minnesota to Irvington to near Colander, moving east at 60. These storms are producing 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. So that's going to cover from Armstrong through Algona down to almost Dakota City, over to Belmont, Carner, Forest City, Lake Mills, and I-35. And I believe that through Forest City and Lake Mills, that is, I thought that was US 69 there. I may be wrong. It really doesn't show it labeled. Okay, that's fine. 2 airports? Interesting. Huh. That's something I will poke out later when I'm not doing severe weather coverage. Just curious as to why there's 2 airports in a small town like that. Now, we have all these the tornado warnings, but Des Moines is also proactively getting our severe thunderstorm warnings out ahead of these lines. And the one that's going to expire the soonest is the one for the area around Fort Dodge, Webster City, and Dakota City. This will likely be reissued just because they've not made much progress. I mean, the storms just now are getting to Dakota City, Fort Dodge, and Farnhamville and Callender. So this area will probably be extended, especially considering they called it out. But so areas from Clarion down towards Jewel Junction, Webster City, Iowa Falls, down towards Eldora, and all the way down to Story City, you will likely see a new severe thunderstorm warning here shortly being issued by the National Weather Service in Des Moines to cover that line as it continues to race across northern Iowa. Otherwise, it's actually fairly quiet. All the tornado warnings right now are in Iowa. We have no tornado warnings in Nebraska, no tornado warnings in Kansas. And that's, I mean, all the severe weather is up
Attention,
here.
a new confirmed tornado warning has been
And
issued.
just changed one of the warnings.
Attention, a new tornadic severe thunderstorm warning
and
has
that
been
is for
issued.
that, where did it go? There it is. We have a confirmed tornado near Ringsted, Iowa, or 18 miles northeast of Emmetsburg, moving northeast at 55. So Sway City and Ledyard. You're in the path of this. Sway City around 9:35, Ledyard about 9:45. And that is this little storm right up here by Armstrong. So looking at the Minnesota side, Elmore, Frost, Keister, Blue Earth, Wells. You're going to be downstream of this, so definitely be watching that. I would not be surprised to see a new tornado warning soon from the National Weather Service in Chanhassen. Just looking to see if they've updated either of our recent, or gotten recent updates here in Minnesota. No. Well, yes, but no. Okay. And they did issue looks like they issued a new, no, they didn't. I thought I saw a new severe thunderstorm warning pop in down here. But I know they filled in. Right now, you've got a solid line of severe thunderstorm warnings running from the Minnesota border to the Nebraska-Missouri border in Iowa. Pretty much right along the 169 corridor for the most part. And this runs from Esterville to Algona to Fort Dodge. I mean, areas all the way out to Boone and Creston and Clarinda are in this. And that is an excellent example of National Weather Service Des Moines being on top of this and getting the warnings out sooner than later. And that is exactly what we want to see here in the weather business. We want to see
New information.
them
This
getting the
tornado
warnings out
warning
as
has
soon
been
as
updated.
possible. Bear with me here. I'm just reading a new update from the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center. Okay. So, from the Storm Prediction Center, the summary is severe gusts and a few line-embedded tornadoes will be your concern with an elongated system for the next few hours. Few wind gusts may exceed 75 miles an hour. And they're talking about this line that runs from up here, La Center, Faribault, Waseca, all the way back down to Fairmont, and then really the big line down here through Iowa. And so what they're saying is this is nocturnal cooling has started to occur, which means we're starting to cool off at night like we normally do. That helps stabilize the atmosphere some. But there is so much energy and so much kinematics, so much motion and ingredients in the atmosphere right now. that this line is going to continue to propagate and continue doing exactly what it's doing for several more hours. So at this point, did they just expand that? I think they did. I'm very curious now because I think they just extended that tornado watch and I didn't catch it. Let's see if I know what that watches. Which one am I looking at? That one. Okay, it did originally cover Rochester and Preston down to Decorah. I just did not recall seeing that as I was looking at things. So that's why I was confused. I thought they just extended that a little bit farther over. But they did not. They did allow the severe thunderstorm warning up here for areas west of Waseca to expire. Let's switch back over to the Chanhassen radar. And that area has weakened pretty substantially. Still the severe thunderstorm warning down here for areas from Adelia down to Fairmont. That goes all the way to St. James and Blue Earth as well.
New information. This tornado
And that
warning
is for
has
that
been
cluster of
updated.
storms. It's moving north and northeast from Spirit Lake and Nestorville all the way down to Algona. That's moving to the northeast at about anywhere between 30 and 60 miles an hour. This northern part right along
Attention,
the state
a
line
new radar indicated
is
tornado
really kind of
warning
going
has
along to
been
about
issued.
30. And it looks like we just got a new tornado warning for southwestern Worth, northeastern Kossuth, northern Hancock, northwestern Cerro Gordo, and Winnebago counties in Iowa until 10:15. We have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Burt, or 8 miles northeast of Algona, moving northeast at 55. And so that's going to be this area right in here. And that's going to move up towards Tatanka and Lake Mills, eventually up towards Northwood and the Diamond Joe Casino. And if it holds together, it would go south of Austin, north of St. Ansgar, and go towards Spring Valley in Minnesota.
Attention, a new radar indicated
And
tornado
there's
warning
that tornado
has been
warning
issued.
I was expecting. This is going to be for southwestern Faribault and southern Martin counties in Minnesota. And that is for that line of storms moving in from Iowa. Currently in a line from 7 miles southwest of Sherburne to 19 miles southwest of Elmore in northern Iowa, moving northeast at 55. So Ceylon at 9:40, Fairmont and Welcome at 9:45, Elmore at 9:55, Blue Earth at 10, and Frost about 10:05. If I just rattled off your city or something close to you, you are in a tornado warning until 10:15. These storms have had a history of producing tornadoes. They're not long-lasting tornadoes, but it's a tornado nonetheless. And they may only be on the ground for 2 or 3 minutes, but that 2 or 3 minutes is enough to destroy your house. So if you're in these tornado warnings, take them seriously, especially if you're out here towards Forest City, out here in western Cerro Gordo County, and west of Mason City and Clear Lake. But Lake Mills, Buffalo Center, Tatanka, Wesley, Britt, Forest City, you've got advanced warning on this. Get your action plan in place. Now, you've had it in place. Now put it into motion. Get into your safe space. Make sure you've got a helmet. Make sure you're protecting your head and neck. Put your shoes on. The last thing you want to do is if something, God forbid, does happen and you have to get out of your damaged home or out of a destroyed home, you don't want to be trying to crawl over things barefoot. So sturdy shoes, Crocs, do not count as solid shoes, nor do sandals. You want to be wearing tennis shoes, boots, hiking shoes, something like that. It sounds crazy, but football cleats, soccer cleats also work well. I mean, they're not the best option necessarily for preserving a floor, but in terms of getting out of a damaged location, they will work quite well. Just looking up at the Twin Cities here, kind of zoomed in on us. Yeah, if you're west of I-35E, you're probably wondering what the heck, why is this guy on? Why is he rattling on about all this stuff? It's all south of us. Well, once you cross I-35E and you start getting back towards Minneapolis and Edina and the Northwest Metro, you've got showers and thunderstorms.
New
Nothing
information.
severe.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, we just updated this severe thunderstorm warning. And that's going to be for that area from Sherburne to 15 miles southwest of Elmore, moving northeast at 60. So this is that same area with a severe thunderstorm warning on it. Farther south in the areas around Fairmont and Blueworth and south of I-90, that's a tornado warning because these storms have been known to produce tornadoes. Still have a pretty solid storm up here between Good Thunder and Mapleton, south of Mankato. The storms that were going through Mankato, moving over towards Waseca and Faribault, those have weakened dramatically. The lightning activity in that is much less than it was. East of La Center, you've got a stronger storm that's actually got some pretty good lightning activity in it. That's right in that bookend on the north end. And it's starting to get more lightning activity out here by Jordan and along 169 down towards Henderson, back up towards Shakopee and Chanhassen. Nothing severe, just good pouring rain and some lightning, thunder here and there. But primarily, our biggest threats are going to be along and south of US 14. I thought it might be a little farther north today. I really did. I thought it might be the Minnesota 50 area. More up, I was thinking it was going to be more Marshall to New Ulm to Faribault to Wabasha. That's where I thought we would have a northern boundary. It's kind of where the tornado watch is. But if you look, the severe weather really has not gotten that much farther north than, say, Slayton to St. James to Mankato to Waseca. I mean, there's this cluster of what I would call a rash of storms out here in southeastern Minnesota. Now, I've been looking at those for a little while. They're moving. I mean, they're clipping right along to the northeast, but when you look at them, they're not severe. They're just there. It's just good, solid thunderstorms, lightning and rain, and all the things you expect in a summer thunderstorm, even though it's late spring, and we are now in the second half of May. So right now what we're going to watch is this area down here by Fairmont, Jackson to Fairmont to Blue Earth. That's kind of our really have to watch it areas right in here. I'm going to center that up so you guys can see it right here. I get my mouse to get, when the mouse gets really big it disappears. Curious. You can see that line really kind of pivots right here, right southeast of Jackson, right about Petersburg. It's kind of a pivot point. Yeah, we're definitely starting to get some more activity here in the South Metro. I can hear it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's this little area right in here. See, kind of little loop right here, right along the Minnesota River. See, it's kind of poof up here.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Yeah, we just got an upgrade on the warning for our city. And that is for a confirmed tornado by emergency management east of Algona, Iowa, and near Wesley, Iowa. And that storm is moving to the northeast at 55. So Britt and Hutchins around 9:45. You got about 2 minutes there. Eagle Lake, Crystal Lake, and Eagle Lake State Park around 9:50. Hayfield at 9:55. Forest City, Iowa, Miller, Pilots Knob State Park, and Forest City Airport around 10, and Fertile in 10:10. And so that's this area here, and that is for that storm that's moving out of the areas around Algona and Burt and Bancroft, and that is moving up. So Lakota, Tatanka, Wesley to Britt, Forest City, Thompson, Buffalo Center, and Lake Mills, you are in that warning. I was looking here real quick.
Attention, a new tornadic severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
And around that, so areas from Armstrong back to Algona, down towards Dakota City, Belmont, and Forest City, Lake Mills. Yeah, I just said you guys, I know. But the National Weather Service in Des Moines has now issued a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for a good chunk of north central Iowa, eastern Emmett County, western Worth, northern Wright, northwestern Franklin, Kossuth, northern Humboldt, Hancock County, western Cerro Gordo, Winnebago, and northeastern Palo Alto counties in Iowa, all under a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail. That's for a line of storms that's extending 4 miles southwest of Ceylon, Minnesota to near Irvington to Colander, moving east at 60. So that's this line. You can see it's starting to really accelerate here. And that's going to produce some very, very strong winds. The warning is for 70. I would not be surprised if we saw a 75 or an 80 gust in here. Kind of open this up a little bit so we can take a look at the bigger picture here. Figure out how far I have to go here. All right. So currently in our area, we have 9 tornado warnings and 7 severe thunderstorm warnings. And the reason that's the case is because Des Moines has saved us a lot of headaches and just issued some and Chanhassen as well. They have been issuing very, very large severe thunderstorm warnings. So right now, if you're in north central Iowa and you are west of I-35, you are in a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for wind gusts of 70 miles an hour and nickel-sized hail. On top of that, all these storms are warned for tornadoes as well, as they're producing quick spin-up tornadoes. They're only on the ground for a few minutes, but I mean, we're talking like 3 to 5 minutes. They're happening so fast that the radar scan won't even see them because they happen between scans. So if you're, like I said, if you're west of I-35, so areas west of a line like Mason, Hampton, all the way down to Iowa Falls. In Iowa Falls, in that area, you
Attention,
just
a
got
new
tornado warning.
radar-indicated tornado warning has been
Listening
issued.
for Hardin, Webster, Wright, Franklin, Humboldt, and northern Hamilton counties in Iowa. And that is for a storm near Sportsman's Park, or 10 miles northwest of Webster City, moving east at 55. Woolstock about 9:50, Big Wall Lake at 10, and Dow's and Popejoy at 10:10. And that warning is in effect until 10:30 p.m. So Clarion, you are in that one, along with Eagle Grove, Dow's, Rowan, and Woolstock. Pop this out of motion real quick. I'll take a look at the velocity data here. Yeah, that's right in there. Another area to watch right here. Excuse me, right in here. But again, we're looking way up in the atmosphere. Ugh. That's a mess. Okay. Velocity data is an amazing thing. It shows us so many details we never had access to 30 years ago, but we have access to it now.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
9:50 is about 2 minutes from now. Harcourt, Duncombe, Woodman Hollow State Park, Stanhope, Brushy Creek State Recreation Area, Webster City Airport, Stratford, Dolliver Memorial State Park, Lehigh, and Dayton in the path of the storm as well. And if you look at the data here, you can see that this is all bowing out. It's very sharp. From Britt to Eagle Grove, down here to Jefferson, down towards Coon
New
Rapids in Iowa.
information, this tornado warning has been updated.
And that is very much showing that these storms are definitely pushing an outflow boundary and definitely pushing some strong winds. Let's get an update on our tornado warning here in southern Minnesota for southwestern Faribault and southern Martin. That warning is in effect until 10:15. And we do have radar indicated rotation in a line of severe storms capable of producing tornadoes and 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts from near Welcome to 12 miles south of Elmore. That's all moving northeast at 55. So Fairmont and Welcome about now. Elmore at 9:55, Blue Earth at 10 o'clock, Frost at 10:05, Bryceland at 10:10. So if I just mentioned your towns, or you're anywhere close to those towns within a couple of miles, you are in that tornado warning. You need to be seeking shelter now. I'll take a look at this from the Chanhassen radar, because that's going to be the better option. The area I'm looking at the most is right around Ceylon. There's a broad rotation showing up there. I'm looking just to the southwest, just here 2 miles west-northwest of Groover, Iowa, or a few miles east of Esterville, an 82-mile-an-hour measured wind gust. So these storms do mean business. Not gotten any storm reports down here yet. Just looking at our storms across the metro. Again, nothing severe in the metro. The Twin Cities, we're seeing storms, but that's it. They're just regular thunderstorms. Got quite a bit of lightning happening now east of Blaine, up here towards Lina Lakes and Hugo. So if you're up Centerville, Lina Lakes, Circle Pines, and heading a bit north towards Ham Lake and Columbus, you're getting quite the loud show tonight. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, but all the rain is south of Lina Lakes to North Oaks to Vadnais Heights, over to White Bear Beach, Hugo, White Bear Lake, Mounds View, Lexington, and Arden Hills. There's another pocket of heavy rain. It's moving across the south side of Minneapolis from St. Louis Park all the way over to the Matt Groveland neighborhood over by McAllister, all the way down to southwest, Lake of the Isles, Lake Harriet, and Medoc-Muska, all getting poured on right now. And another pocket of heavy rain. And this is a bigger one from Shakopee and Chanhassen to Victoria, all the way down to Jordan, and this one's got quite a bit of lightning in it as well, up towards Waconia. And then a bit of a break in the New Prague to Montgomery to Lonsdale, down towards Faribault. That's the remnants of the activity that went through Mankato. That has weakened quite a bit. And realistically, the only severe weather in Minnesota right now is for areas around St. James to Truman to Winnebago, Blue Earth, Fairmont, and even back towards Tremont and Sherburne. You're in a severe thunderstorm warning. Fairmont and Blue Earth and areas south of I-90, you're in a tornado warning. And that is all for this activity that's been just absolutely prolific in producing damaging winds and tornadoes in northern Iowa. It's moved across the border. And it's quickly moving to the northeast, but slowly moving to the northeast at the same time. And I say that because if I put it into motion, you can see this area back here between Jackson and Fairmont just really doesn't move. The rest of the line out here from Fairmont down towards Britt, Iowa, that's ripping off to the northeast, which is exactly what we would expect. But this area back here, I would not be surprised if there was a flash flood warning issued for areas around Fairmont and to the south and west. That could even probably be brought to continue up to Winnebago and Truman even. But as it stands right now, that is the only severe weather we have on the board in Minnesota. Absolutely nothing happening in the northern half of the state. Just a few showers passing through way north. Here's the front coming through much farther back. And that's from roughly
New information. This tornado.
And I missed that one. I don't remember which one it was. Shoot. Not that one. Was it this one? Would make sense. Nope. Nope. So Algona, Emmitsburg, and West Bend, that warning is going to be allowed to expire here at 10 o'clock. Gotta be this one. No? Okay, I'm confused.
Attention, a new radar indicated tornado warning has been
tornado
issued.
Warning. That's going to be for areas from Frost to Keister to Wells, over to Clarks Grove, Albert Lee, London, and Glenview, and Emmons. So right there, again, along the I-90 corridor, it's for this activity. It's in north central Iowa, and it's moving to the northeast, and as it does, it's going to come across the border. And so we're probably going to see a line of tornado warnings kind of crawl across the I-90 corridor here from Fairmont over towards La Crosse as the night goes on. And if you're at Albert Lee and you're wondering why are the sirens going off? Why are we under a tornado warning? It's because this activity down here in north central Iowa, from Britt back up towards Buffalo Center, that is ripping towards you at 65 miles an hour. So it will be there fairly quick. And also of note, Worthington, Sioux Falls, and Marshall, you're out of the tornado watch. But even as far back as they're still keeping a good chunk of that in. Looking to see what counties they've canceled. and which counties are still in. Well, it looks like they trimmed it pretty much from Carroll, Iowa to just east of Rockwell City up to Spencer. You're out of it. The watch, that is. I'm going to switch to a far radar site so I can actually see the counties under there. There we go. Actually, I was wrong. I'm glad I looked. Worthington and Laverne, you're out of the watch. Sioux Falls, you're out of the watch. Pipestone, you're out of the watch. And Slayton, you're out. Rock Rapids in Iowa, you're out. Everybody else still, from Orange City to Lamar's to Storm Lake to Spencer to Denison, back towards Omaha, you're still in that tornado watch. Because until that front goes through, there could be more storms develop. And just point of reference, I'm looking at the Davenport radar site, which is way, way, way far away.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Update on our severe thunderstorm warning is dropped St. James. So these storms are in a line from 7 miles northeast of Welcome to near Elmore, moving northeast at 55, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and quarter-sized hail. And that's for that area, Truman to Fairmont to Blue Earth to Winnebago. Still have our tornado warnings along the I-90 corridor running from Fairmont through Blue Earth over to Albert Lee. Wells, you're in that tornado warning as well. And you see how well these storms are showing up in spite of the fact that we're looking, I would say, 2 radars away. Now, something we have to watch really closely here is as this area around Fairmont, this area back here is really not moving at all. This area right here. You've got the activity up here, Faribault to Mapleton to Winnebago, back to Fairmont. That's one line. And you have another line down here that's running from Fairmont, almost into Blue Earth now, to Buffalo Center to Britt, and much farther down into Iowa. But in the middle, right here along I-90, between Jackson and Blue Earth, if you're in the area of heavy rain that really just is not moving, this whole area is not moving. I mean, it's slowly moving to the northeast. But if you look at like this line in northern Iowa, if I look at this.
Attention, a new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
And that's down here. Webster City, Iowa, moving east at 45. Tornado and extensive straight line wind damage. And looking to see, they don't have winds listed. Max hail size less than 3/4 of an inch. Oh yeah, if you're in the Southwest Metro, you're getting the Northeast and the Southwest are seeing a lot of lightning and thunder tonight. We had a couple of rumbles here down at Black Sheep and Apple Valley, but that's all we've had. Kind of hoping this area back here will make it into the Twin Cities later tonight. That should hold together. Look at this bigger picture. So this area back here from Marshall back down towards Fairmont. Good soaking rain, just lightning, some lightning and thunder in it, but just good garden variety thunderstorms, soaking rains. Perfect sleeping weather. Just open the window and it'll be cooler with the rain and the storms, and just sleep like a baby before work tomorrow. Again, I will be shocked if anything north of US 14 were to be warned tonight. It's possible, but like I said, I'd be very surprised. The atmosphere is starting to stabilize with nighttime setting in and cooling off. Again, like I've said earlier, there's so much energy and so much motion in the atmosphere from basically I-90 south that this line of storms is going to hold together probably for another 2 or 3 hours. Just looking farther back. Baca County is still under an evacuation warning. Oof. That's far southeastern Colorado. Like whole counties basically being evacuated, but they had a couple of towns that were evacuated. It's a fast-moving wildfire. Northern Iowa. It's starting to settle down a little bit. I don't know if it's actually settling down. Let's look at that this way. Yeah, it is. So areas from oh, basically north and south of Forest City. So Garner up towards the state line, Lake Mills. You're still in tornado warning, but if you look at the line itself, all the way from Garner to Belmont to Clarion to Webster City down towards Coon Rapids in Iowa and Guthrie Center, a little bow there, and then Atlantic down towards Red Oak. These storms are all becoming outflow dominant. They're starting to push a gust front way out in front, which makes me wonder, are these storms starting to finally tucker out? If that's the case, what could happen, and this is a could, what could happen is that as these outflows push forward,
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
as the outflows push forward, it can generate more storms. It basically becomes a little cold front, and it generates more storms out in front as the other ones die off. Not saying that's what's going to happen. What we can really hope for is that these storms are just tuckered out. They're starting to go outflow dominant, which means that instead of pulling in warm, moist air, they're just basically exhaling now instead of inhaling. And what will happen is they'll just drop all of the moisture and the cold air aloft that the storms have had. And you get that outflow, the gust front in front, and that's pretty much the end of the storms right there. I mean, it just kind of falls apart from there. And the other thing you can kind of suss
New
from
information. This tornado warning has been updated.
I just updated the tornado warning down here. Fair about you're out of it. You are out of that tornado warning. Still southwestern Faribault and east central Martin counties for 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and possible tornadoes for a line of storms from Winnebago to 16 miles south of Bryceland, moving northeast at 60. Bryceland, Frost, and Blue Earth on the path of the storm in the next 4 minutes. So Blue Earth and Frost and Keister, you've got just a couple of minutes to get in your safe space. A 70-mile-an-hour wind gust is almost hurricane strength. Hurricane strength would be 75 miles an hour. But as I was saying before they updated that warning, you see all this lightning activity up here from Clarion and north, up towards Fairmont, even up towards Mankato still, and Faribault. And then once you get south of there, there's still some lightning.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
There's not a whole heck of a lot of lightning until you get down towards Red Oak and southeast of Omaha. And then there to Nebraska City, there's more. So
new information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Is these center sections where there's not much lightning, those storms really are starting to fade out, which is the best thing that can happen. Just updated the severe thunderstorm warning for far north central Iowa. So we're looking at western Worth, northern Wright, northwestern Franklin, eastern Kossuth, northeastern Humboldt, Hancock, western Cerro Gordo, and Winnebago counties. Those areas are in a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible and 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And that is on a line from 4 miles northwest of Frost, Minnesota to Miller to Webster City. Those storms are moving east at 65 miles an hour. Again, 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail. And I apologize, that is not a tornado possible warning. That is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So we have not gotten an update on our confirmed tornado that was near Algona, which would be this storm up here that's up towards Forest City. There's the tornado 4 miles north of Crystal Lake in Winnebago County, reported 4 minutes ago. So that's right in here. Which is, let's see what we can tease out of this and reflect in velocity data. Blah. Okay. Okay. You know, looking at velocity data, not a lot there. Kind of curious about these little echelon shapes back in western Iowa, but yeah, I think these storms are starting to give up the ghost here. That's all we can hope for. As you look, I mean, you can see that gust front, that green line out in front, that's really starting to race
New
out
information. This tornado warning has been updated.
There's that update on the confirmed tornado warning. And there's a tornado warning that does remain in effect for another 10 minutes for southwestern Worth County in Iowa, northeastern Kossuth, northeastern Hancock, northwestern Cerro Gordo, and Winnebago counties. Confirmed tornado near Leland, Iowa, or near Forest City, moving northeast at 65. And there was a confirmed tornado west of Forest City, moving northeast. That was reported by Emergency Management. Lake Mills, Rice Lake, Joyce, Lake Mills Airport, Rice Lake State Park around 10:10, so in about 5 minutes. That would also cover areas around the Diamond Joe Casino up here in Lake Mills. So right along 35 there, you need to be taking your precautions. I guess it wouldn't quite reach the Diamond Joe here. It'd be close. And on the current trajectory, that would go north of Mason City and Clear Lake. Northwood and Manly to Mason, and then north of Mason City, you would see that. Northwood, you really are in the line of it. And eventually, if it holds together and doesn't peter out, Austin and St. Ansgar would be the next in line. I'll pop back up here, look at the Twin Cities quick. You got an area of consolidating showers and thunderstorms here in the southwest metro, running from Minneapolis to Edina, down here towards Prior Lake to Jordan, back up towards Chaska, Victoria, and up towards the Lake Minnetonka area. And that whole area is moving off to the northeast, well, kind of east and northeast. The whole cells are moving to the northeast. The line is slowly drifting to the east. It almost looks like there might be a boundary there that's triggering that, because we're down here in Apple Valley and Black Sheep. So we're down here between Egan and Burnsville. And we've not really seen any rain. We've only had a couple of distant rumbles of thunder, but that's it. So the air conditioning in the studio is making more noise than thunder is, unfortunately. As I watch this area back here, the other thing we have to watch out for, and this was something I didn't have on my bingo card for the day, was that area of rain and embedded storms from Redwood Falls to Worthington to Marshall. Notice how that's starting to fill in, and the colors are starting to go from green to yellow with some embedded reds out here. And as you watch that, that is intensifying rainfall. Part of it's also the way that the radar's
Attention,
seeing
a
everything.
new confirmed tornado warning has been issued.
And there's that updated tornado warning going north and west of Mason City. So Lake Mills, Joyce, Lake Mills Airport, Rice Lake, and Rice Lake State Park, about now, and Northwood at 10:20. Joyce, Pilot Knob State Park. These are all repeats. What the heck? Pilot Knob State Park, Lake Mills Municipal Airport, McIntosh Woods State Park, Hogsbath Wildlife Area, Plymouth, Scarville, Grafton, Fertile, and Hanlinton, all in the path of this storm. And this is also I-35 between mile markers 193 and 218. And so that would include areas like Clear Lake, the northwestern side of Mason City, Plymouth, Manly, up to Northwood and Lake Mills. And eventually that's going to move up towards Albert Lee, Glenville, London, Clarks Grove, and Bancroft, Freeborn, and Alden. So Albert Lee, you're probably just now starting to get some thunder coming in. Let's stop that there. Okay. And the severe thunderstorm warning back for Winnebago, Truman, over towards Tremont, Sherburne, and Fairmont. That warning is going to be allowed to expire. The tornado warning is still in effect until 10:15 for areas around Bryceland, Frost, and Blue Earth. And then areas from Armstrong, Iowa to Algona, back to Manson, to Lake City, and west. You've got showers and thunderstorms moving through. Nothing severe. This is more of your garden variety. Hey, the garden's going to get some rain kind of activity. I'm looking here at the Sioux Falls radar. I'm going to see if I can see the cold front. Sometimes there would be enough of a humidity and temperature difference across the front. You can sometimes see it. It'll show up as a little fine line, which is what I'm guessing that is. Okay, and La
Attention,
Crosse has
a new
issued their
tornadic
first
severe
warning of this.
thunderstorm warning has been issued.
And that's going to be for Mitchell, Floyd, and southern Mower counties. Lisle at about 10:30. Rockford and Rudd about 10:35. Osage, Adams, Stacyville, Rose Creek are on 10:40, and Wrightsville are on 10:50. So that is La Crosse getting ahead of this line as it moves into their coverage area. Down in Rochester, yeah, nice area of showers and thunderstorms. It's kind of just festered, for lack of a better word. It's just kind of sat there and percolated from Winona to Rochester down towards Preston. And that really has not gone anywhere. It's just kind of there. It moves off to the northeast, but it seems to fizzle as it gets to the Mississippi River, and then it just keeps rebuilding back towards Iowa. Again, looking at the Twin Cities. Good old cluster of showers and storms moving through from
New information. This
almost
tornado
Osceola
warning has been
down towards
updated.
Maplewood, and then that's moving off to the northeast, and then from Minneapolis down to the southwest metro, Chanhassen, Shakopee to Jordan. That whole area is nice, solid rain and thunderstorms. The storms themselves are moving to the northeast, but the whole line is slowly moving off to the east. And as I look down here, and it's an update on our tornado warning. Southwestern Faribault and east central Martin counties, the storms have moved out of the area, so that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at 10:15. I'm noticing this activity here towards Mapleton, that's actually moving up north towards Mankato. So it's going to be, looks like we're almost getting a MCV, or a mesoscale convective vortex, or vortice.
Attention,
right
a
here,
new severe
as this whole thing
thunderstorm
spins.
warning has been issued.
That's this area right in here. Also got a new severe thunderstorm warning farther south.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
For northern Franklin, or northeastern right, northern Franklin, southeastern Hancock, northern Butler, and Saragordo counties in Iowa until 11 o'clock. That's that same line of storms that's been racing off to the east. It's got a new tornado warning down here. That's an update, rather, for storm 11 miles east of Webster City, moving east at 45. Should be around Williams, Iowa, around 10:15. Alden and Buckeye are on 10:20. And just north of that, I have a severe thunderstorm that was near Big Wall Lake, moving east at 40. And that tornado warning will be in effect until 10:30. And that storm will be around Popejoy around 10:20. We still have our confirmed tornado warning. And that was 6 miles northeast of Forest City. And that warning is in effect until 10:45. Well, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing severe thunderstorm warnings fill in up here on Mason City over towards Charles City. But you notice there's not a lot of new activity warning-wise happening in Minnesota. There's barely clipping into southern Mower County from La Crosse. I'm really starting to wonder how much longer these storms are going to hold together. I'm going to switch to the La Crosse radar. It's one of those where, unfortunately, from about Fairmont down to about Hampton and over to Austin, and that area is kind of a dead zone where all of the radars are looking at least 7,500 feet off the ground. So you're looking a mile and a half up. So that tornadic circulation that's happening in the lowest 2,000, 3,000 feet, totally missed. And so that's why I switch radar sites. Sometimes you'll see me just suddenly
Attention,
switch.
a new radar-indicated tornado warning has been issued.
Okay. And we now have a tornado warning that pretty much overlays that same severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. And so 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and tornado possible. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. Where's my tornado warning? There it is. So this is that same line of storms that's moving from Mansfield. It's 8 miles north of Mason City to 10 miles south of Clear Lake, moving northeast at 60. Extensive straight line wind damage and tornadoes are possible with these storms. St. Ansgar and Lisle at 10:35, Osage and Stacyville at 10:40, and Wrightsville at 10:55. And that warning will be in effect for another hour until 11:15. Excuse me. One thing I don't have is anything besides ice cream to drink. Just looking here. Okay, so not high confidence. What does Chanhassen say? Chanhassen sees it barely. 66%. Okay. Looking at the AI identification of tornadic vortex signature, or TVS, and both radars, Des Moines or La Crosse and Chanhassen, both see it. Chanhassen has a higher probability of it being a tornado on it, but I don't trust it because it's in an area where the data is not terribly good. Okay, that was an updated scan, but it really didn't help things. La Crosse. You'll notice La Crosse does not show signs of rotation. So the confirmed tornado area was right in here, I believe. Right here by Joyce. There's also another area just to the northwest of Mason City Airport, Mason City. Right here by Creamery, between Creamery and Clear Lake, about to cross over I-35. So I'll go up towards Freeman, Plymouth Junction, and Plymouth. That's all in north central Iowa. Waiting to see what the Weather Service and Chanhassen is going to do with that tornado warning down here for Fairborn and Blue Earth counties. I think it's Blue Earth County. Nope, Freeborn and Faribault counties. I love the fact that the cities are not in the counties. It's like Iowa. It's like, oh, Faribault. No, Faribault's in Rice County. Blue Earth is in Faribault County, but Mankato's in Blue Earth County. Are you confused yet? Just one of the challenges of wherever you live. Same thing happens in Iowa. Same thing happens in a few places in Illinois. And seen it in Arkansas as well. So let's go back and look at our standard velocity, or standard reflectivity here. And I still have the severe thunderstorm warnings flying here in Iowa. So I'm not questioning them. Just looking to see if we have any updates. Looked like there for a while they were going to fizzle out and not do much. Looked like they might be becoming outflow dominant and not doing much, but they're starting to look like they may be just going through a cycle and they're strengthening back up. And Des Moines sees our storms here over the metro. Looking at our area down here between Wabasha, Winona, Preston, Rochester, that area. St. Charles, Chatfield, Preston, Lanesboro. Excuse me, not quite into Rushford yet. You may not even see anything until the actual big storms come in. But that area right in here, they've gotten quite a bit of rain here. The storms are moving, but not a whole heck of a lot. A lot of lightning in this too. I'm just looking at this as best I can. What radar am I on? Chanhassen, okay. So Chanhassen says there's a tornadic circulation down there still. La Crosse agrees, and 53%. And then what does Des Moines give us? A whole lot of nothing. So I'm just kind of slicing apart this activity up here, and there are multiple spots.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Okay. Tornado warning remains in effect until 10:45 for southeastern Faribault and Freeborn counties in Minnesota. Tornadoes and wind gusts to 70 miles an hour are possible along the line
Attention,
from
a new
storms
radar
that are
indicated
near
tornado
Wells
warning has been
to
issued.
14 miles southeast of Emmons to moving northeast at 60. So Alden, Twin Lakes, Conger, Wells, and Emmons about now. Albert Lee and Freeborn in about 5 minutes. Glenville and Hayward at 10:30. Clark's Grove at 10:35. Hollandale and London at 10:40. And we just got an update on our warning down here. There it is. Tornado warning for eastern Cerro Gordo County for a storm capable of producing a tornado near Birchinal, or 7 miles south of Mason City, moving east at 55. Mainly rural areas of eastern Cerro Gordo County, including Rock Falls, Birchinal, Portland, and Swaledale, that will affect I-35 from mile markers 189 to 193. So that's going to be this messy area down here. And again, we're looking so far away and up into the storm. And unfortunately, because of where things are, we can't really... There it is. This area of rotation right here by Birchinal. Right here. That's what that warning was issued for. Is this area of spin right here. Best view is from the La Crosse radar. That is velocity data. Yep, Storm Relative says that too. Yeah. I would not disagree with that warning. Not at all. Okay. Des Moines can't see into this activity up by Albert Lee. La Crosse can. Yeah, it's still showing a 60% chance of a tornado up here by Northwood, but the radar data is so bloody messy that you can't really tell. But here's that area down by Birchinal, right in here. Yeah, that's starting to take on a look. Right here by Manly as well. That's an area you want to watch just because of the little notch in the line. Same thing right here by Northwood. There's another one up here. South of Albert Lee, southwest of Glenville. Any of these little divots could produce a tornado, a brief spin-up tornado without warning. That's part of the reason you're seeing so many tornado warnings getting issued for this. A lot of them are preventative and protective, meaning that they may not necessarily produce a tornado, but they've done it enough times in the past where let's not risk it. Let's get the warning out so people take shelter. If that 1 to 2 minute tornado happens, people are in their safe spaces. They're not caught unprepared. Well, the activity that was up here by Watertown in South Dakota is actually formed a couple of nice little thunderstorms up here by Morris and Alexandria. Yeah, we're definitely getting a mesoscale circulation developing here. You can see it right here. The rotation is just clearly there. Right about where the hand is. You can see it rotating around that point.
Attention,
And we
a
now
new
have a new
severe
thunderstorm
thunderstorm
warning for the
warning
Des
has been
Moines
issued.
metro area. 60 mile an hour wind gust for Polk County, Iowa, Madison County, Iowa, southeastern Guthrie County, northeastern Adair, Dallas, and Warren counties in Iowa. This will be affecting I-35 between mile markers 51 and 72, as well as 87 to 98. Interstate 80 between mile markers 87 and 149, and Interstate 235 between mile markers 1 and 14. Hey, our storms are finally starting to move out of the South Metro and developing around here. Good, 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 good. We want some rain and storms. We've kind of missed out here in the South Metro. We've not gotten a lot, at least not where we are exactly in Apple Valley. Seems like it's all gone just to our east or just to our south.
New information, this tornado warning
And
has
we have
been
an update
updated.
still on okay, still the tornado on the ground with a tornado
Attention, a
northward
new
moving
radar
northeast at
indicated
60.
tornado warning has been issued.
And knowing that's the case, that's got to be, that's going to be crossing into Minnesota here pretty quick. And Mitchell and north central Iowa, Mitchell County, and southwestern Malheur County in Minnesota, you are under a tornado warning until 11:15. But that storm likely would clip. Boy, that's going to go right across southeastern Fairborn County. I think it's Fairborn. Yeah, it's Fairborn County. And if it holds together, that's going to go pretty close to Austin. We did get another tornado warning farther south here as well, north of Charles City for southeastern Mitchell, northern Floyd counties for a storm capable of producing a tornado near Mason City, moving east at 55. Rudd around 10:35 is in the path of the storm. And again, it's radar indicated rotation. That storm is whipping off to the northeast at 55 miles an hour. We'll go over to the La Crosse radar, probably going to stay there for the rest of the night. So here's our tornado near Northwood. I'm going to look and see. Boy, you'd have trouble selling me on that. No, it's right there. Okay. Now that I know where I'm looking. Well, that tornado's definitely there. I mean, the rotation's there. You're not going to... Yeah, it's there. I was looking to see if there was a tornado debris signature, and there's not. Okay. Have a tornado warning farther south in Iowa, around Dow's and Popejoy. And that is for Hardin, Wright, Franklin, and Hamilton counties in Iowa. That's going to expire in 4 minutes. I have one just to the south of that, which is going to be for western Hardin and eastern Hamilton counties. That one's going to expire here at 10:45. Everything south of that is severe thunderstorm warnings, including into the Des Moines metro area. All the tornado warnings right now are in north central Iowa and south central Minnesota. So we have a tornado warning for western Hardin and eastern Hamilton counties. That was for a storm 11 miles east of Webster City. And that one is moving towards Williams. I should have already passed Williams. And Alden and Buckeye was about 5 minutes ago. They need to update this morning. And so that's moving east at 45. And unfortunately, that's not in a good radar site for that. Let's do Des Moines. There we go. And yeah, there's not a lot there that jumps out at me and says, looky, looky, looky. The only thing I see is this little area right here.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay. And this little twist right here, which shows a little bit of rotation.
New information. This
We'll move
tornado
towards Iowa
warning has
Falls.
been updated.
We're going to jump up the line here. Okay, so we have a damaging tornado on the ground north of Rockwell and just south of Mason City, moving northeast. Mason City, Norris Springs, Rockwell, Swaledale, Rock Falls, Birchinall, and Portland in the path of this tornado. And that's going to be for that rotation right here. That's going to move right towards Norris Springs, Rockford, and Rudd. Another rotation just to the north of Mason City. It's going to move over Plymouth and Manly here in the next couple of minutes. And we did get an update here for Mitchell and Malheur counties. So Mitchell County, north central Iowa, southwestern Malheur County in Minnesota. Severe thunderstorms along a line from Mansfield to 8 miles north of Mason City Airport to 10 miles south of Clear Lake, moving northeast at 60. Tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage are the threats with this. And that is the source is radar indicated rotation with us, the history of producing tornadoes across north central and northwest Iowa over the past hour. And that's going to be in St. Ansgar and Lisle about 10:35, Osage and Stacyville around 10:40, and Riceville at 10:55. Albert Lee, you've still got your tornado warning here for southeastern Faribault and Freeborn counties. That is still in effect until 10:45. That will probably be left to stand and not, if not extended, but that would be extended probably to the east of Albert Lee in areas like London, Myrtle, Oakland, and Moscow and Hayward. And then, of course, At that point, you're going to cross over, and that'll be into Mower County or on Lansing and Austin, which will be covered by National Weather Service in La Crosse. So right now we're kind of up against it because if you look, our warnings for Saratoga County and Des Moines and Northwood and all, or not Des Moines, Mason City and Northwood, these are all issued by Des Moines. Over here in St. Ansgar and Osage, Charles City, this is all issued by La Crosse. Albert Lee is issued by National Weather Service here in the Twin Cities, and then again southwestern Mower County, that's going to be in La Crosse. So it's one of those areas where you have multiple National Weather Service offices adjoining each other in terms of their warnings. And they do coordinate. There is an internal National Weather Service chat that they use, and they coordinate. It's why you saw these warnings come out well in advance, because Des Moines probably called up or chatted with La Crosse and said, hey, these storms are tornadic. They're moving towards you. You probably want to issue a preventative tornado, or I keep forgetting the word I'm looking for. Prophylactic is, whoa, hello. Well, that was fun. Let's not do that again. So we'll do that a little bit. There we go. Not prophylactic, but it's a protective prophylactic. There's a word I'm looking for, and I just can't think of it. But a warning in advance. So preparatory warning. That's the word, the phrase I was looking for. Good grief. But that bow is really starting to race out here. So areas from Sheffield to Mason City to Northwood to Albert Lee, moving towards Austin, Osage, Charles City, and eventually towards Waverly. You're in the path of these storms. They are producing tornadoes on the front edge of the storm. They're also producing 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So between the two, you have a lot of storm damage that could be happening with these storms. That's why we're issuing these warnings ahead of time. And you see, I mean, these warnings out here for Charles City and St. Ansgar that were issued by La Crosse, those were issued 30 minutes before the storms even got into the county, because these storms, A, are moving very quickly, and B, they have its history of producing quick spin-up tornadoes with 1 to 2 minutes of warning. That's it. They're so fast that the radar doesn't even see them. So our tornado warning down here in western Hardin and eastern Hamilton counties. It's for a storm 11 miles east of Webster City. That warning is in effect until 10:45. Not sure which rotation they were warning for on that one. We're going to focus right here in north central Iowa into south central Minnesota. There we go. If I press and click the right mouse button and move, it'll rotate the map, and every once in a while I do that just because I'm a little slow in the fingers. But Albert Lee, you're still in that tornado warning. Like I said, I would not be surprised to see that one get extended or trimmed down or something into southeastern Freeborn County. Mower County, you want to be on your guard. So Lansing, Austin, up here towards Dexter, even towards Hayfield. This area right in here, I would be taking my tornado precautions and putting them into action. Interior room, in the basement. Cover your head. Make sure you're wearing shoes. If you've got kids and they've got sports helmets, get that on their head. It'll protect them. It's a lot easier to fix a broken arm than it is to fix a broken head. So St. Ansgar, Osage, Norris Springs, Rockford, Floyd, Riceville, you're all in these tornado warnings for this activity. It's moving towards you rather quickly, about 60 miles an hour. From Northwood to Mason City to Rockwell, that whole line is coming at you. Austin, Lansing, and Mower County up towards Blooming Prairie. Those storms are moving toward you as well, but they're moving from the southwest to the northeast. So they're going to come at you from the side, so to speak. Whereas farther south, they're coming in from the due west. And then once you get down into Hampton, down towards Webster City,
Attention,
Iowa Falls.
a new tornadic considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
There we go. So that northwest corner now of Freeborn County, northeastern Freeborn County, has a considerable severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That's going to affect Heartland, Clarks Grove, London, Hollandale, and Geneva. The question is now going to be, will they include, this is going to be an interesting split, because Steele County, which is Owatonna and Blooming Prairie actually sits barely in Steele County. It's almost over here. Boy, in Dodge County. So it's right there, almost on the corner of all four counties. I mean, there's your boundary right here. This little area is the four county boundary. But I would not be surprised if areas up here, Ellendale to Blooming Prairie to Summit, out towards Claremont, if this area didn't get a new severe thunderstorm warning as well, which also would probably lead to a severe thunderstorm warning for Hayfield, Lansing, Austin, and over towards Dexter from National Weather Service La Crosse. I'm questioning, it's Dodge County. Dodge County is La Crosse, Mower County is La Crosse, Steele County and Freeborn counties are Chanhassen. Sometimes I just have to remind myself which county gets warnings from where. Twin Cities, not a lot of lightning anymore, but boy, we're getting some good rain out of this. And I'm just going to do my usual...
Attention, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Oh, come on. There. New severe thunderstorm warning down here in... What the hell did I do? There we go. In Mower County. Surprise, surprise. And there it is. So...
New information.
There
This tornado warning has been updated.
What the... I saw it. I'm losing it. That's why I was confused. I've got the map rotated 90 degrees and didn't even catch it. Jeez Louise. Oh, come on. I'm going to have to disable the right mouse button, I can tell. All right, there we go. So, as I was saying, National Weather Service included the rest of Mower County in this severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts for storms from New Richland to London to near Nora Springs in Iowa, moving northeast at 60. Austin, you're going to see these storms in the next couple of minutes. Brownsdale at 10:50, Grand Meadow at 11, and Leroy at 11:05. And with these storms moving to the northeast, Rochester, you may see them, you may not. It's going to be a close call. St. Charles, Rushford, Preston, over towards Spring Grove and Caledonia, expect these storms. I don't think... For southeast Minnesota, I don't think these storms will be as intense as the storms last year that did so much tree damage down there, especially in Rushford. Their 330-year-old tree got destroyed by a storm. The stump is still there, and you can still go visit it, but there's still a lot of downed trees in that area. You can see what happened quite clearly. Now we're getting thunder in Apple Valley. I can hear it. That's a happy sound. I'm going to put this into motion. This is the Chanhassen radar site. So, and you can see pretty much if you are in Oakdale, you're getting rain. But once this little finger goes through from Oakdale down to South St. Paul to Eagan to Burnsville, where's the rain? I mean, seriously, where's our rain? It's not here. We might get some rain from this activity down here, but...
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
We have a 15-county severe thunderstorm warning? What? The... heck? Is it this one? No. I would just issued a massive severe thunderstorm warning, and I'm trying to figure out where it was.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay. So, we have a tornado warning out here in St. Ansgar, Osage, Charles City, and Riceville. But the severe thunderstorm warnings, in fact, for that whole area, it's just been upgraded. That is now a considerable with 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. Those were confirmed at the Nora Springs Fire Department. So they had a measured gust of 70 miles an hour.
This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Excuse me. The updates are flying so fast at this point, I'm getting a little lost. Is that this one? No. Mm-mm. They didn't even update it. Wow. I know Des Moines has been busy, and they've got everything from north to south across their entire region.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
But they issued this warning up here by Fort Dodge over towards Hampton, Webster City, and then never updated it at all. Okay, so okay. So we still have a tornado warning in effect for another 5 minutes for southeastern Faribault and Freeborn counties in Minnesota. Southwestern Mower, you're still in tornado warning. Austin, you've got a circulation that is moving towards you. I'm looking at that and really kind of wondering what's going to happen here. We're getting updates flying thick and heavy. The tornado warning for eastern Cerro Gordo County will be allowed to expire at 10:45. The storm has moved out of the area. That is that storm that's moving over here to Norris Springs, Floyd, Rockford, and north of Charles City. And that does have radar indicated rotation, and it's capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage from London to Lisle to Norris Springs. With that tornado possible, there has been a reported 70-mile-an-hour wind gust confirmed by firefighters in Norris Springs at the fire department. What I'm most concerned about right now is this, what looks to be an incipient rotation starting to show up just south and west of Austin, Minnesota, right in here. And the tornado warning for Worth, northeastern Cerro Gordo, and northeastern Winnebago counties in Iowa is going to be allowed to expire at 10:45 as well. So that area in the Des Moines County warning area from Northwood to Manly to Mason City to Rockwell, right along I-35 there in north central Iowa, that area is going to be dropped here at 10:45. Those warnings will be allowed to expire. We've not gotten an update on the Freeborn and Faribault County warning down here in Wells and Albert Lee. Northeast of Albert Lee and northeastern Freeborn County, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for another 18 minutes. And that was for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We have a severe thunderstorm warning also for Mower County that goes until 11:15, so another 33 minutes for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. South central and southwestern Mower County, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts for storms moving to the east at 70. In extreme southwestern Mower County, we have a tornado warning for another 33 minutes. And that is for storms that could produce both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage. And that will affect Osage, St. Ansgar, and Stacyville around 10:45, so about 2 minutes from now, and Riceville at 11. South of the border, oh, hold on, we just got an update on the warning. Yeah, the tornado warning for Faribault and Freeborn counties will be allowed to expire at 10:45. So everything on I-35 from Albert Lee to Northwood to Manly to Mason City to Rockwell, your tornado warnings are going to expire here in about 3 minutes. The storms have moved out of the area. Now, St. Ansgar, Osage, Riceville, you are in a tornado warning, and that is for that squall line. Tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage. Those storms are moving northeast at 60, and there has been a report of tornadoes in the last 30 minutes, as well as a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, or 70-mile-an-hour wind gust at Norris Springs. South of Norris Springs, or south of that area, Norris Springs to Orchard to Floyd, Rockford, just north of Charles City, you also have a tornado warning for a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Norris Springs, or 10 miles east of Mason City, moving northeast at 55. There was a tornado near Rockwell in the last half hour. So if we go backwards, it was right down here, south of Mason City. So that's this cell racing off. Otherwise, it is all severe thunderstorm warnings from Clarion and Fort Dodge south. And not a lot really. Just looking, there's two big warnings down here. Okay. They are not anything critical for what we're looking at in our area. So I'm going to jump back over here to standard radar. Base reflectivity. And I'm really starting to get a lot more lightning in the back end of this. So the heavy rain is moving in Oakdale. You'll see it here very shortly. Maplewood, St. Paul, Mendota Heights, West St. Paul, South St. Paul, Inver Grove Heights. You guys aren't seeing the rain yet. It's a nice little shower going over Hudson back towards the area between Lake Elmo and Woodbury right along 94. Another cell about to go into New Richmond, and some other thunderstorms up towards Osceola. Nothing severe, just garden variety showers and thunderstorms. Now, the activity down here between Alma and Winona to Trimpolo, back to St. Charles and Rushford, up towards Arcadia, those are not severe. There's just a lot of rain, and especially when you get back towards St. Charles, a lot of lightning in this. These are very, very electrically active storms. And that's MPX. I don't trust it. Not that I trust the MPX radar. I just, when it starts trying to tell me there's a tornado somewhere, I don't believe it. Unfortunately, La Crosse verifies it as well to 70%. So we're getting a nice little divot in the rotation here in Austin Acres, the southwest side of Austin, which is not what I want to see. Excuse me. I'm going to switch radar sites real quick. If it'll let me, it will. Yeah, oof. It'd be right in here if it was anything. I think this may be one of the cases where the AI is having a moment. I see Des Moines, please. Thank you. And Des Moines can't see squat because it's too far away. Not surprising. Across. Yeah, Austin, you're going to get some strong winds here. I mean, from Austin down to St. Ansgar, you are about to get hammered with heavy winds. I would not be surprised to start seeing winds in excess of 70, probably closer to 75 to 80 miles an hour between Austin and St. Ansgar, moving over towards Riceville, Spring Valley, and Leroy. Oh, excuse me. Oh. All right, quick summary at 10:45 Central Time. We have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Freeborn County. That will expire here in 13 minutes. Mower County, you're a mess. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning over the north half and the eastern sliver. So right there, right along, what is that from Racine? That's bigger than what I think it is. From Leroy up towards Racine, Grand Meadow, Brownsdale, Lansing, Waltham, Sargent. You have a severe thunderstorm warning for another half an hour till 11:15 for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. For Rose Creek to Adams to Teope, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And those are storms near Ellendale to Lisle to Rockford, moving east at 70. North Springs Fire Department recorded a 70-mile-an-hour wind gust with those storms. And areas around Lisle and southwestern
a new severe
Mower
thunderstorm
County,
warning has been issued.
You have a tornado warning that is in effect here for another half an hour for Mitchell County, Iowa, and southwestern Mower County in Minnesota. And we just got a big new severe thunderstorm warning from our friends out in La Crosse. Excuse me, for Olmsted, Dodge County, and western Fillmore County, all in southeastern Minnesota until 11:45. Severe thunderstorms extending from Waseca to near Rose Creek to near Rockford, moving northeast at 60. In the path of this storm will be Blooming Prairie about now, Hayfield and Claremont at 11, Dodge Center at 11:05, Rochester, Mansfield, Quezon, Stewartville, Byron, Spring Valley, and West Concord around 11:10, Pine Island, Chatfield, and Orinoco around 11:20, Iota and Fountain at 11:25, Preston, Elgin, and Dover around 11:30. And so that's this big line here from Blooming Prairie to Austin, down towards Osage in Iowa. That's all racing off to the northeast and will eventually get up into the whole Rochester metro area before eventually going off towards Wabasha. Radar's still trying to show that rotation. It's fairly confident there's something there, but I don't believe it. Yeah, no, I don't believe it. Velocity says there's a little bit of a weakness there, but it's right on the edge of the prime sampler, which is the first ring, so to speak, which is here, and then the outer ring of the radar is out here. So you have the 128 mile and then the 200 and, well, it's 128 miles and 256 miles effectively, but it's measured in nautical miles, just how they do it. But it's right on that area where you get some changes in how the system reads and interpolates the data. And so that's why I'm questioning that data.
Attention, a new tornadic severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for areas from Lime Springs down to Alta Vista to New Hampton to Fredericksburg. So that's going to be right there, right along, is that 63 that runs through there? Yeah. US 63 corridor in north central Iowa from Fredericksburg and Nashua up through New Hampton. And then that will go all the way up to Lime Springs and over to Cresco. And that is a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning. Maximum hail size is less than penny sized, but 60 mile an hour wind gusts. So it's a tornado warning solely for the tornado aspect. Riceville and Elma, you'll be in the path of this storm in about 10 minutes. Nashua and Ionia at 11:05. Lime Springs at 11:10. New Hampton and Jericho around 11:15. Cresco at 11:20. Fredericksburg, Lawler, and Protivin at 11:25. And we're talking about that line weakening. I'm going to pull up the Des Moines radar. And I will point out that from Charles City and New Hampton north, there's severe thunderstorm warnings. But from Hampton and Allison, all the way down the rest of the line, all the way down to Shenandoah, so Red Oak and Corning, none of that area in the middle is in a severe thunderstorm warning at all. All those warnings have been allowed to expire or have been canceled. So you still
New
have some
information.
activity
This
back
severe
here.
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Northeast Missouri, or northwest Missouri rather, up around Maryville and Nottoway County, up towards Clarinda. And then you've got a substantial severe thunderstorm warning down here for 2-inch hail and 60 mile an hour winds. It's considerable for Lincoln and Ellsworth counties in central Kansas. And that's the end of it. They really, there was a very conditional threat going down into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, which did not happen. But where they expected the worst of it to be seems to have not been where it was, because they were expecting it to be down here, right around Kansas City and St. Joseph, southeastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, that area. But it's been much more South Dakota across north central Iowa. These storms have been rocketing across. And, excuse me, these storms formed way the hell back here, back towards Mitchell and Yankton, and then just blew together and have just been marching across north central Iowa all evening. And so what we have now is Chanhassen breathing a sigh of relief because they've got one warning left that will expire at 11 o'clock. Those storms have moved out. So Albert Lee and Freeborn County, you were out of the severe thunderstorm warning. They're now entirely into the La Crosse warning area for areas around Mancherville to Rochester, all the way down to Charles City and New Hampton and Iowa. Those are all severe thunderstorm warnings for storms producing gusts up to 60 miles an hour. And in some cases, a tornado possible tag, I think on a couple of them, but don't quote me on that yet. Yeah. So the warning down here by New Hampton and Cresco, that does have a tornado possible tag. We have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for Mitchell, Floyd, and Mower counties. And that is for 70 mile an hour wind gusts. And then we still have our two tornado warnings, one for Osage, Riceville, and St. Ansgar. That was issued at, that was an update issued at 10:39. And then we still have our tornado warning from Rockford to Norris Springs to Floyd to Orchard, just to the northwest of Charles City. And those two have not been updated. And then we still have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning south of that. And that would be it's the Mitchell, Floyd, and southern Mower counties storm for the 70 mile an hour wind gusts. La Crosse is due to issue a few updates here. I will not be surprised if they don't clean up Mower County. It's kind of confusing how they have it right now with the number of warnings in Mower County. But right now there are 3 warnings in Mower County. Actually, I think there might actually be 4. That could be a glitch. Yeah, there's a glitch in the line. Because technically, this little tiny sliver right here, right along, was at 385th
Attention, a new
Yeah, that
radar
doesn't have a warning.
indicated tornado warning has been
Okay,
issued.
and we're going to continue the tornado warnings across to Cresco, Iowa, Lime Springs, Elma, and Alta Vista. This is going to be a continuation of the warnings to the west. So this is for Howard County and northern Chickasha County in northeastern Iowa. Tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage along a line from Stacyville to near Floyd, moving east at 60. Riceville, you'll see these storms in about 5 minutes at 11 o'clock. Elma at 11:05. Lime Springs and Jericho at 11:10. And Cresco and Protivin at 11:20. So that's the northern half there. That is all of Howard County and northern Chickasha County. Decorah, you're in the line for these. Newburgh, Harmony, Spring Grove, and Caledonia in Minnesota. So we're looking at Houston County. Oh, I just had the name of the county on the tip of my tongue that Preston's in. Oh, fiddlesticks. Fillmore. So Fillmore and Houston counties in Minnesota. Then Decorah and Waukon in Iowa. Forgive me, I don't know which counties those are. You guys are next in line for this, and like I said, I would not be surprised if the areas around Spring Grove and Caledonia to Decorah and Waukon to Lansing see a tornado warning next. It'll be a ways down the road. It'll probably be another hour down the road, if not half an hour to an hour. But we'll have to see what they do with that. Let's switch over to La Crosse because it'll give us a much cleaner radar view of this. This is one of those, don't quote me on this, but to my eye, this section from Osage south towards Charles City is starting to weaken quite substantially. And really, this area up here between Osage and the state line does not look nearly as intense as it did. I'm going to let this loop backwards for an hour.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
And they just trimmed that tornado warning for southeastern Mitchell and northeastern Floyd counties. It's capable of producing a tornado 8 miles east of Osage, moving east at 50. It'd be rural areas including the Caldwell County Park, New Haven, Idlewood State Park, Howardville, Caldwell, and Floyd Crossing in the path of that storm. But as we look at this on radar, you can see these storms are weakening pretty quickly now. I mean, to me, it's just mind-boggling how these storms in central Iowa have just gone bleh and have fallen apart. And bleh is the scientific description of it, yes. So really the main energy is still in this bow up here in northeastern Iowa into southeastern Minnesota. I don't know. Let me switch radars again. I was looking at Des Moines. I was looking at this 8 miles east of Osage. So looking at this little cell right in here, this little pocket. Right in here. And
new information. This tornado warning has been updated.
For a storm 12 miles northeast of Osage, racing to the northeast at 65. So they're looking at this. That's for this area of what they're calling rotation. I'm not sold on it. Yeah, they're looking at this little area right in here. I understand why they have issued that severe thunderstorm warning and that tornado warning there. Given all that's involved, I don't know that we're going to see much more tornado production. I don't even know if we're going to see severe thunderstorm warnings that make it to the Mississippi River. And I'm kind of surprised to hear myself say that because it looked like this was going to roll as a severe complex all the way into southwestern Wisconsin. I was kind of expecting it to be all the way over to Madison tonight in terms of how late it was going to run through the night. But I really am starting to wonder if it's going to hold together that long. Because really, your serious line is only from Owatonna to Charles City. And
new information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Okay, I've trimmed that tornado warning in Mower County for eastern Mitchell and south central Mower counties. That's 12 miles northeast of Osage. So it's still this cell. They're just clipping in that little corner to do it. We have the update here for the severe thunderstorm warning for southern Mower, Mitchell, and Floyd counties. And that is for a line of storms from Claremont to Adams to 8 miles southwest of Riceville, moving northeast at 55. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts for this part of the line. So we were seeing 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now we're down to 60. And I'm going to put this into motion again. And as I do that, I'm going to zoom out here so you can see a bigger picture. Just let that loop. And this is only over the last, this is only over the last 15, 20 minutes. Okay. But even in that time frame, you can see how it's really kind of falling apart down here. Is it safe to say, I'm going to bed, if you're in Cresco or Decorah or Waukon or Caledonia or Preston, you can go to bed. Just make sure you have a way to get warnings. Have your weather radio turned on, have it set to alert for your county. We have one here at Black Sheep that's sitting on the wall. It's turned off because I'm broadcasting live, but normally that is on and will scream bloody murder if there's anything that happens in Dakota County where I am located and where the studios are. Your phone will also go off, so don't have it in silent mode. Make sure it's beside your bed, not in your hand necessarily, but have it charging beside the bed, so if it does scream for an alert, an emergency alert, you'll hear it. And it's looking at a lot of lightning out here to where I am. I just realized, we're getting a storm, huh? Yeah, we're getting all kinds of lightning to our north. We really didn't get much out of this. Cottage Grove, Great Cowlitz Island, Denver Grove, you guys got... We did not get anything down here. I want to file a complaint with management. Where are our storms? And the tornado warnings in Minnesota have been almost allowed to expire. Tiny sliver of Mower County is still in a tornado warning. And that is right around Johnsburg, north about 3 miles, and then angle that off so it pinches off in the corner there, southeast of Tiope and east of Leroy, or west of Leroy. Tornado warning still in effect for Meyer, McIntyre, Riceville in Iowa. Another tornado warning down here for Orchard, Floyd, and Caldwell in Iowa. And then we have our new bigger tornado warning for Lime Springs, Cresco, Elma, and Alta Vista. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for Dodge County, Olmsted County, and Fillmore County. And then also one for Mower County. And interesting. Really?
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
And our severe thunderstorm warning for the large chunk of Mower County is still in effect until 11:15, so about 13 more minutes. Austin Airport recorded a 61-mile-an-hour wind gust, so that is a severe wind gust. The threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning is 60 miles an hour, so it just met it. Just barely met it. But we're going to take it seriously. We're going to make sure that we are in our safe places. A little bit of a notch here north and west of Grand Meadow. That if it was earlier in the evening, I would be much more concerned about this little pocket right here. But as it is, I'm not too concerned. Looking down the line, the velocity presentation down the line is nowhere near as impressive as it was. We've got this little pocket right here by Dexter, which is west of Grand Meadow. That may be a skew based on the distance from the radar. Yeah, a little bit of a weakness there by Dexter. But these bright
information. This
pale
tornado
blues and
warning
darker
has been
blues are starting to
updated.
show up. That's indicative of some very, very, very strong winds. I'm going to turn on our little peaker. And that's 7,000 feet above the ground, so not terribly far up there. Let's got an update on our tornado warning up here. And that is for Howard and northern Chickasha counties in Iowa. That tornado warning is still in effect. Those storms are moving east at 60. Elma, those storms will be to you at about 11:10. Lime Springs and Jericho about 11:15. Cresco at 11:20 and Protivin at 11:25. And I'm curious because these warnings aren't filled. I guess they are. It's just the radars on top of them. Okay. To me, it looked like there were hollow warnings. I'm like, that's odd. So St. Enscar, Osage, and Charles City, that warning is, your severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for another 10 minutes. That will likely be allowed to expire here at 11:15. Same thing with this southwestern Mower County warning that's including Adams, Lisle, and London. That expires in 10 minutes. That will likely be allowed to expire. Now, the rest of Mower County, so up here towards Grand Meadow, Racine, and that area into Leroy, so far eastern Mower County, I would not be surprised if you saw a new severe thunderstorm warning there. And then the big warning for Dodge, Olmsted, and Fillmore counties, that will stay put right where it's at for another 40 minutes. And again, all of these are for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts for the most part. In Iowa, it's 70, but in Minnesota, most of these are 60-mile-an-hour warnings now. And I'm going to drop the radar for just a split second here and show you how the tornado watch has been cleared in Minnesota. So we have Albert Lee, Owatonna, Rochester, and Preston over to Lanesboro, Rushford, Newburgh, and Mabel, still on the tornado watch in Minnesota. In Iowa, it's still in effect quite a bit more, from Esterville to Decorah, and then south and west, including Waterloo, Fort Dodge, down through Newton, Des Moines, to Atlantic, to Knoxville and Oskaloosa, to Albia, to Creston, down to the Missouri border. And then there's a little bit of it left in northwestern Missouri, north and west of Trenton to St. Joseph, up towards Maryville. Wow, some nice thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear that over the fan. Give me a second. I'm going to actually set this up so you guys can hear that if it does it again. Yeah, we are getting a little rain here at Black Sheep. Looking at our storm reports and what's in there. Oh, there is a little boundary through the metro. That's what I thought. Okay. I was wondering about that. Put the radar back on. And we're looking from La Crosse. And as I look at this, I'm just kind of, This area seems to be fizzling pretty quick. So we're going to respect the polygon. Lime Springs, Cresco, Alma, Alta Vista. You were still in a tornado warning. This little divot right here, south and east of Riceville, deserves to be watched. That could produce another quick spin up tornado. So we're going to make sure we're taking our tornado precautions. New Hampton, Waller, Fredericksburg, Nashua. I would not. You're in a severe thunderstorm warning. I would not be stressing about that one. It looks like that area of storms farther south is starting to fall apart. Where we have the strongest storm still is from Faribault and Northfield in Minnesota, kind of in a weird little kink shape from Faribault down to Owatonna, then back over towards Mancherville, Stewartville, and then down to Riceville in Iowa, down to the Charles City, almost to New Hampton. But the strongest part of these storms is actually to the north. It's actually in Minnesota now. And that's roughly from Riceville, Iowa, through Leroy, up to the eastern part of Mower County, up through Grand Meadow, and then over, coming up towards Quezon and Mancherville to West Concord in Dodge County. The activity in Rice and Rice and there's another county up there and I'm just blanking on it. Goodhue, Rice and Goodhue counties. That activity, even the northern steel activity, all of that is subsevere. You're getting pouring rain, you're getting some lightning and thunder, but that's it. And where we are in Black Sheep, right in here, we got nothing. We got a little bit of rain. Not a lot. I was hoping for a free car wash. It didn't happen. Our cars are in the parking lot are covered in birch pollen thanks to the trees around. But I think unless there's a substantial uptick in the next next 15 minutes, may call tonight, because this is going to turn into more of a standard severe thunderstorm warning, what I call just your standard issue 1-inch hail, 60 mile an hour wind gust type of situation, not a 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gust, tornadoes, softball sized hail, baseball sized hail type situation. So kind of watch and wait here to see what they do with these. Twin Cities, if you are to the west of 35E, you're out of it. It's done. There's going to be some rain. You're going to see some more showers. There's a few more thunder showers back out towards Alexandria that might clip the far north metro up towards St. Cloud and Cambridge. Wouldn't count on it. Take a look at the Duluth radar. You see that area of showers from Elk River up towards Ladysmith, just south of Balsam Lake. And then if we look back, unfortunately, this is another one of those bad radar sites. There's some showers and thunderstorms around Alexandria, but none of the radars pick up terribly well because none of them are close enough. If you look at Alexandria, your closest radars are the Twin Cities, Mayville, North Dakota, between Fargo and Grand Forks, Duluth, Aberdeen, and Sioux Falls. And none of them do a particularly great job of giving you good quality data around Alexandria. I've gone chasing out there before in the past when I was a meteorology student at St. Cloud State, and that is a terrible area for radar coverage. You really have to rely on your seat of the pants knowledge of things. I don't think you guys can hear the thunder. It looks like it's picking it up, so. Something just got updated and I wasn't paying attention.
Attention, a new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued.
Oh. Okay, where's that going? So that's going to be, a new severe thunderstorm watch is going to be running, looks like Winona, down to Decorah, Elkader, over in the southwestern, there's the update I was waiting for, up in southwestern Wisconsin, sorry. So just cleared a whole bunch of south central Minnesota and north central Iowa out of this tornado watch.
New information, this tornado warning has been updated.
Chickasee and Howard. Okay, so that's this one. Still have a tornado warning in effect until 11:45
Attention,
for Howard and
a new
northeastern
severe
Chickasha
thunderstorm
counties
watch has
in
been issued.
Iowa. That is for tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage along a line from Leroy to 7 miles west of Jericho, moving east at 60. Lime Springs and Jericho, you're going to be seeing these storms right about now. Cresco at 11:20 and Pertiven at 11:25. So the only counties remaining in the Minneapolis County warning area in the tornado watch are Rice and Freeborn. And then we have Dodge, Olmsted, Mower, Fillmore. Not Fillmore. What county is that? Fillmore. I tried to second guess myself. And wait, then what county is this? Mower, Fillmore. Oh, Fillmore is bigger than I thought. Yeah, that's what it is. I split this county in half based on the warning. I didn't realize that did not split the county. Fillmore, Houston, there we go. That makes more sense. Waiting for that new severe thunderstorm watch to pile in. In Iowa, if you are along the I-35 corridor, north of Hampton to Northwood and west, you're out of the tornado watch. And Des Moines just cleared everything from Iowa Falls to Boone to Guthrie Center, Greenfield to Red Oak to Shenandoah and Clarinda and west. So we're quickly carving out the severe thunderstorm or the tornado watch that was in effect earlier today. So we still have our tornado warnings in effect. That's going to be the one for Howard and northeastern Chickasha counties until 11:45. The two behind just expired, yeah. So the tornado warnings that were in effect north of Charles City east of Osage up towards Riceville into extreme south central Mower County. Those have expired as of now. So we'll wait for that to update. And still waiting for the new severe thunderstorm watch to populate out. There it is. All right, looking at, wow, I love it when the Storm Prediction Center does things like this. It hasn't drawn in on the radar map yet, but I'm looking at the Storm Prediction Center site. So for the new Severe Thunderstorm Watch, it was issued, Severe Thunderstorm Watch 219 is in effect until 4 a.m. That includes Houston County, Minnesota, and then includes southwestern Wisconsin, and then from Dubuque through Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, all the way down to almost Keokuk, and then back to Ottumwa, to Waterloo, and then back up where the current tornado watch is in effect. That is all in that new Severe Thunderstorm Watch. So really, it's just where Caledonia is in Spring Grove, Houston County down here. That's going to be the only county that gets added into Minnesota. I'm curious because it chimed it through, but I haven't seen it come through yet here. So I'm just waiting for it. Okay. And there's those. Mower County, you're out of the severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings now. Same thing back here in Iowa, Osage and Charles City, you're out of the warnings. So right now we have one tornado warning left, and that is in effect for Howard County, Iowa, and northeastern Chickasha County in Iowa. And that will be in effect here until 11:45. Otherwise, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Dodge, Olmsted, and Fillmore counties, western Fillmore County in Minnesota. And that will be in effect until 11:45. That's for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And still in the path of this storm will be Wyckoff right about now, Pine Island, Chatfield, and Orinoco at 11:20, Iota and Fountain at 11:25, Preston, Elgin, and Dover at 11:30. Again, that will expire here at 11:45.
Attention, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Wabasha and Winona counties and eastern Fillmore County in Minnesota. And that's for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and that will expire in an hour. Mazeppa, you'll see these storms about 11:25. Elgin at 11:30. Preston and Plainview at 11:35. St. Charles and Lanesboro around 11:40. Wabasha at 11:45. Altura and Kellogg at 11:50. Alma, Lewiston, and Buffalo City at 11:55. Stockton and Rolling Stone at about midnight. Also affected will be South Troy, Pioneer Campground Choice, Eisenhower's, Hutton, and county roads 28 and 31, and Utica. And this will affect Interstate 90 between mile markers 213 and 257. Okay, I'm going to poke at some settings here real quick. Yeah, that's what it was. I had it turned off. There we go. Now we can see that severe thunderstorm watch. I had turned things off earlier because it was impossible to see what was going on. And when I did, I forgot to turn it back on. So here's our severe thunderstorm watch. Like I said, it's just Houston County, Minnesota. And then we have just a tiny little bit of southwestern Wisconsin, really. So the four counties down here, Richland Center, Viroqua, Prairie du Chien, Lancaster, you're in this. And then Waukon, Elkader, Manchester, down to Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Washington, Mount Pleasant, Keosauqua, Fairfield, Ottumwa, Bloomfield, you're in it. The Quad Cities and right along the Mississippi River, you are not in this severe thunderstorm watch. So Maquoketa, Clinton, Davenport, you are
New
not
information.
in this.
This tornado warning has been
Tornado
updated.
warning up here for Howard County has been updated. Expecting that storm to be around Lime Springs now, and Cresco and Potivin around 11:25. And that is for damaging straight line winds and possible tornadoes up here by Cresco and Lime Springs. And we'll just bring the radar up on that real quick. And that is for this storm right here. And what they're looking at, the tornadic part, is this little part right here due west of Cresco. And if we switch over to velocity data, you can see just a little bit of a notch there. And if you look up the rest of the line, there's nothing in there that I see that jumps out and says scary, scary. What I do see, though, is in the velocity data, is looking here between Stewartville, Leroy, down to Riceville, these light blue into darker blue, almost a turquoise color, and even some of these darker blues. If we come up here in that turquoise, that's 70 mile an hour winds getting up towards 70, 80 mile an hour winds.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
And that's this morning right here. We'll get to that in just a second. But these areas right in here, I'm going to see just how far off the ground we are. We're about a mile up, 5,000 feet. So not far off the surface, so to speak. It's far enough. But if those winds can get down to the surface, you usually subtract about 10 miles an hour. Still looking at anywhere between 50 and 70 mile an hour winds. And some of the gusts could even exceed that and be up closer to 75 to 80 miles an hour. Let's take a look at that updated severe thunderstorm warning down here for Howard and Chickasha counties. Those storms are extending from Lime Springs to 8 miles west of Cresco to 7 miles east of Nashua, moving northeast at 55. And that is for 60 mile an hour winds and really no hail to speak of, less than penny size, and tornado possible tags still on that warning. And we'll take a look at the reflectivity data there. Really, it's the eastern half of the counties there that really need to be the most concerned. Dodge County, you're almost out of this. I mean, north of Mancherville, there's still storms up there towards moving up towards Pine Island and Orinoco and Olmsted County. But otherwise, not really anything going on. It'll be interesting to see if Goodhue County gets a severe thunderstorm warning from the National Weather Service in Twin Cities, as we do have the warnings out here for Wabasha and Winona counties, and then also Dodge and Olmsted. To kind of fill in that little corner there where Kenyon and Zumbrota are, that would be National Weather Service Chanhassen issuing for Goodhue County. I'm still just shocked at how much this line in Iowa fell apart. I'm extremely grateful for the people, the residents of Iowa, that it did. But at the same time, it was just, that thing was rocking along. And I was just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm taking a nap. And it was over. It just still kind of surprises me. I was looking at the Twin Cities radar because it gives us a little more representation of the shape of things. That area, yeah. How far back can I go with this? It's only going back 15 minutes. Darn it. Can I adjust? I can. Hold on just a second. I want to pull this forward so I can go back further. There we go. 30. Play. There we go. So this is going back just about an hour. And I want you to look at this line from New Richmond to Medford. Right in here. Ooh, whoosh. And that fills right in. This area down here, Winona towards Wabasha, that's moving into southwestern Wisconsin. Look at that fill in. Look at the lightning kick up in that. And watch this line down here in Iowa. Still intense here, and it just kind of slowly melts up to the north. And northeastern Iowa has escaped what could have been a very nasty storm. Little Falls, Mora, you're going to see some showers and thunderstorms here later tonight as well. That's that activity back here towards Glenwood and Alexandria that's slowly moving off to the east and northeast. Twin Cities, right along the St. Croix, Washington County, you're still getting showers and storms. We're still getting a little bit of light rain back here across the metro, but in terms of heavy rain and thunderstorms, we're pretty much done for the night. And the only real concerning weather at this point would be this line of storms that is arching from Owatonna and Faribault through Rochester down to Cresco, Iowa. And even as we watch this, you can see that start to weaken some. Let's switch over to La Crosse. It's a much closer sight. I'll put this into motion. Hopefully. There we go. Let that fully loop. You can see how much of the red isn't, I mean, it was a solid line of red. Now it's starting to break up and you're seeing little pockets of red, but it's not the continuous line that it was. And so I'm looking at that and seeing a bit of a weakening trend here. I'm also curious. There's a little circular area back here between Blue Earth and Albert Lee and Wells that shows up right at the very end of the very last frame of this, kind of here. I'm wondering if we're going to see a wake low. I'd be surprised. But given the way things have been tonight, I would not be surprised if there wasn't one. Or would not be surprised if there was one. I'll say that correctly there. I'm going to pull up a couple of things here real quick. Okay. Okay. Bear with me here, just reading some data quick. All right. I'm starting to wonder about that one. Okay, so Chanhassen hit the nail on the head in their discussion. I'm looking at the aviation weather discussion that was issued about 8:30, so it's been 3 hours now. But they saw this line clearly moving through, but they were looking at for MSP specifically for the international airport. They were looking at an area of showers and thunderstorms that would be developing between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. that would last into Monday night, but not be a big severe risk, just heavy rain and lightning. They got it, because that's this area right in here that blew up over the cities, dumped some rain and some lightning, and that was about it. Dodge County, I don't want to call you out of it this severe thunderstorm warning, but it's almost done for you guys. There's still some heavy rain and some lightning up around Pine Island, which that's actually in Olmsted County, but there's still a little bit in the far northeastern side of Dodge County there. But Dodge County, you can go to bed now. Fillmore and Olmsted counties, the eastern half of the counties are where the action is. So from Rochester to Spring Valley, down towards Leroy, and then over to Iota, Chatfield, Preston, and St. Charles. That's where our warnings currently are in Fillmore and Olmsted counties. And then we will jump over here to Winona, Wabasha, and eastern Fillmore counties for another severe thunderstorm warning. And that is for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And that's for a line of storms as 11:16, so about 15 minutes ago. They were from Kenyon to Rochester to 8 miles south of Lime Springs, moving northeast at 60. And so that's this line of storms.
New information. This severe
and that's
thunderstorm warning has
for
been
Dodge,
updated.
Fillmore, and Olmsted has just gotten updated. Times 3. Interesting. So that remains in effect. Severe thunderstorms in the line from Wanamingo to near Iota to 6 miles northeast of Lime Springs, moving northeast at 60 with 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Severe storms will be around Preston, Chatfield, Iota, Elgin, Dover, and Fountain here in about 5 minutes. And then I think we got an update on the other half of this as well. No. It looked like they had updated. It showed all 3 counties and it said times 3, so I thought there were these 3 counties were included. It should be a little odd, but waiting to see what happens with this tornado warning down here in Howard County, because that would expire here in about 15 minutes. It's quickly moving out of Howard County. It's going to be over here in whatever this county is in Decorah. I don't have my Iowa map in front of me for my counties. I don't have my cheat sheet, so. But given that we have no tornado warnings on the Minnesota side of the border, and we have fairly run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warnings for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, not even for hail, just 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, I think we're going to start considering widening down
Attention,
for the
a
night
new
here.
severe thunderstorm
You just get a
warning
new
has
severe
been
thunderstorm
issued.
warning in Wisconsin, and that's going to be out here just between Hickston and Black River Falls in Jackson County. That's going to move up towards Maryland and Alma Center. Eventually, it will move up into the Clark County Forest, going to the west of Neillsville, and that is in effect for 45 minutes, and that is for quarter-sized hail. And Maryland and Alma Center, you can expect this storm in about 5 minutes, and then Humbert in about 10. It looks like we just got an update. Nope. Looked like the Floyd and Chickasaw County warning was flashing, so I thought there was an update there. So this is all we have for severe weather and warnings on the board right now. Not a lot going on. I'm going to wait about 15 more minutes. I want to see what happens with this tornado warning down here in Iowa, if that is allowed to expire. And I think that severe thunderstorm warning will expire at 11:45 as well. If these warnings are allowed to expire, and knowing what's going, the trend up here in southeastern Minnesota, what I will probably do is call it a night, and we might, I say might, be back tomorrow. It looks like many of these same areas may get hit tomorrow. The slight risk, and let me just pull up the day 4 here real quick. But easier to, or the day 2 rather, not the day 4. Been thinking about this in terms of day 2 for so long, or day 4, looking forward to it. So this is our current, and this is the one that was issued at about 7 o'clock. And so they got that pretty darn right. But let's look at day 2. And so here in the Twin Cities, we're kind of split in the middle. General thunderstorms are possible from roughly Superior, Wisconsin, down through Elk River, down to Worthington and Sioux City, north and west, up to about Aberdeen and Fergus Falls, and then the Iron Range. There's a narrow little sliver of marginal risk from Ashland through Ladysmith to the Twin Cities, to Mankato, to Fairmont, down to Spencer, Iowa, and Sibley, Iowa. And then it's not far after that. Storm Lake here, all the way up through Forest City, Mason City, Austin, Owatonna, Rochester, Red Wing, Wabasha, all in slight risk. So we could be on here. We could be live again tomorrow for this activity, depending on exactly where it forms and when. The highest risk of severe weather is down here in far northwestern Missouri, extreme southeastern Nebraska, and northeastern and north central Kansas. That is actually a moderate risk, and that is mostly driven by a tornado threat. So if we look at that, there's our tornado threat, and you see that 5% tornado threat actually comes all the way up. So Ellsworth, Red Wing, Faribault, Owatonna, Albert Lee, areas east, all the way up to Medford, almost up to Ladysmith, including Eau Claire, and including Menominee. You're all in that 5% risk. But the 10% and 15% risk and the hatched areas don't happen until you get south of Mason City and Waterloo and Cedar Rapids. And then you get into a SIG 2, which is EF3 to EF4 tornadoes, and that 30% range from Nebraska City back down towards Wichita. But that is not going to come at us. Wind, excuse me, you have a 30% chance that pops up here in southeastern Minnesota from Austin to Rochester to Wabasha, south and east. That will be avoiding Eau Claire. So it'll actually be south of Eau Claire and then go up and split the difference between Mudford and Phillips. And then the hail threat is a slight 5% from Eau Claire to Rochester to Austin, back down to Storm Lake, Iowa, south and east. Madison will be in that, and then you get into the 45% down here from Beatrice back down to Topeka and Manhattan, Kansas to McPherson and Hutchinson, And that's a SIG 2, which means we could be looking at baseball to softball sized hail. But that is all for tomorrow. For today, it's pretty much winding down. Here was the original tornado threat. And you notice the highest threat was down here. That was actually pretty darn accurate. You notice the SIG 1 hatch actually came all the way up here. Still not quite sure why, but they did. Because that's all the way into the 2%. I mean, that's, to me, is a little odd. But what that tells us is that, yeah, there's a much lower risk here of tornadoes, but if any do form, they could be stronger. And stronger being like EF2. 40% wind damage threat, they nailed that one spot on. Mankato to Worthington down towards Sioux City, Storm Lake, Fort Dodge, Mason City, Austin. Yep. Ding, 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 ding. They won that one. Give them the star. And if we look at what the hail forecast was, and as we know, there's not really been a whole lot of hail reports in our area. And the primary hail reports were down back here along the Missouri River from just about
New
Sibley,
information.
Iowa.
This severe
That's an update
thunderstorm
for
warning has been
up here by
updated.
Neilsville and Black River. Orange City, Lamar's to Sioux City, back down into Kansas and Nebraska, and that's where they had a lot of large hail and tornadoes. But as I said, we did just get an update here on our severe thunderstorm warning over here in Wisconsin. And that storm is now over Alma Center, or 8 miles north of Black River Falls, moving north at 45 miles an hour. And that storm is producing quarter-sized hail. It will be near Maryland and Humbird at about 1140. And that is this cell right here, just over Alma Center, right there. And looking down at this area down here,
New
they just-
information.
yeah, they
this
just
severe
trimmed that
thunderstorm
warning like I
warning has been
expected them to.
updated.
So the severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County is gone in Minnesota. It is still in effect for eastern Homestead and western Fillmore counties. Actually, is it all of it? No, it's the eastern 2/3 of Olmsted County. I thought so. And that's in effect for another 8 minutes for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And those storms are from Goodhue to Iota to near Harmony, moving northeast at 60. Preston and Dover, you'll see those storms here in about 5 minutes. I'll point out that these storms are definitely weakening. The tornado warning down here in Howard County is going to be allowed to expire at 11:45. And the severe thunderstorm warning that's in Howard and Chickasha County, Iowa, still until 11:45. That one's going to stand. Excuse me, and that's because of this area down in here. I have to say that severe thunderstorm warning over here in Wisconsin was not on my bingo card. I really didn't think there would be anything this far north in Wisconsin. Again, I thought it would be along the 9094 corridor, the La Crosse, maybe as far north as Sheboygan, as this activity raced across northern Iowa, far southern Minnesota along I-90 and just went straight across. Oh. So our little circulation here has really started to lift because it's getting up towards the Twin Cities now. I'm going to just let this jump out to the end. And so areas south of Hastings, west of Red Wing, northeast of Faribault, and over towards Wabasha and Zumbrota, you're actually seeing some pretty heavy rains and some pockets of intense lightning. It looks like there's a lot of lightning in this. Right out in front of it from Vasa back towards Goodhue. And we're starting to get more thunder up here in Apple Valley, but all we're getting is light rain. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, here we are. Here's Apple Valley. Doesn't even show up. We're here, I promise. So here's Cedar Avenue here. This is County Road, Cliff Road. This is, where did County Road 42 go? Good grief. I live here and I'm lost. This is 38th. So this is McAndrews. The zoo is right over here, if you know that area. The zoo is right about where the hand is. And there's Apple Valley. Here's County Road 42. And so you can see this big area of rain back here. Not a lot of lightning in it, just some good steady rains, which is exactly what we need. We don't need a good torrential downpour. I'm going to take a look at this from the FAA radar in Cottage Grove, because I want to look at this activity down here. Well, it looks pretty boring, which is what I want to see at this time of night. All right. So looking up here, Goodhue County, wondering if they will issue a warning for that. I will be very surprised if we see a warning up here for either Polk County or Goodhue County or Pepin County here.
Attention, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
All right, and we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning now for Winnesheek County. That's the county Decorah's in. So northern Winnesheek County, severe thunderstorms from Harmony to Ridgeway to near Wacoma, moving northeast at 55. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, and these will affect Decorah here in about 5 minutes. And so with that, one, these storms are out of our primary coverage area, which really is kind of the cutoff here of where the La Crosse Weather Service takes over. So Dodge County, Mower County, and east. We do still look at like Pepin, Polk, Pierce, St. Croix, Dunn, and Eau Claire, and this area. But I don't see anything severe happening here. We have the one warning that's out here by Maryland, moving up to the between Fairchild and Neelsville. I don't know how long that storm will last. But otherwise, things are quieting down quite nicely across the region. We do still have our severe thunderstorm warnings for Wabasha, Winona counties, and then over here into eastern Fillmore County, and then northern Winnesheek County. The warnings back here for Howard and Floyd counties, those are going to be allowed to expire. Yeah, the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire, and the severe thunderstorm warning is going to be allowed to expire as well. So we saw this little narrow finger of severe thunderstorm warnings. There is a severe thunderstorm watch south of La Crosse into eastern Iowa and far southwestern Wisconsin, rather. And so with that, our primary area is just seeing the showers and thunderstorms now, the occasional rumble of thunder. And so we're going to call it a night just in case we do have to do this again tomorrow. I am meteorologist John Lamb. You've been watching Black Sheep Weather's live severe weather coverage of severe weather across southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, moving in now into southwestern Wisconsin. We're going to call it a night at 11:42 p.m. on a Sunday night.
New information. This
And we
severe
just got an
thunderstorm
update on the
warning
severe
has been
thunderstorm warning. I'll do
updated.
that quick update here. And this is for the Wabasha, Winona, and Fillmore County warning. Still at 60-mile-an-hour radar indicated wind gusts. St. Charles, Plainview, Lanesboro, Altura, and Canton about 11:45, so any minute now. Wabasha, Lewiston, Buffalo City, Mabel, Kellogg around 11:50. Alma, Rushford, Stockton, and Rolling Stone at about 11:55. And Winona and Goodview on the river at about 12. And so with that, after midnight, those storms will be starting to move across the river into southwest Wisconsin. So areas from Whitehall to La Crosse, down to Viroqua, eventually over towards Black River Falls, Sparta, Toma, and Richland Center will see these storms. By then, I don't expect them to be severe. If they are, they're going to be very borderline severe, and it'll be warnings just for the chance of something happening. But with that, I am going to say good night. Thank you so very much for watching. If you like what we do here at Black Sheep Weather, give us a thumbs up, hit that notification bell to be notified when we issue new videos or we go live, and subscribe so you have this showing up in your feed. So if we're live or we've posted something new, you'll see it right away. Again, I am meteorologist John Lamb. Thank you so very much for watching and have a great night.